Good evening. Welcome to BRAP. Ha 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 ha. No laughs, nothing? All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another BRAP. It's Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, a little bit past 9 p.m. Eastern time, but I was unsure if I was gonna have a BRAP show today because I was talking to my good buddy here, Mr. Gaming Forte, and I said, Forte, I just want to play video games, man. Like I don't feel like podcasting tonight. I just want to play video games, and so we exchanged some ideas. Forte gave me some good ideas, so maybe we might do some BRAPs in the future where it's just maybe the panel playing some video games together. Maybe doing some Fortnite, maybe some Halo Infinite, maybe some Call of Duty.
Custom games.
Yes. Or maybe some Destiny too.
Oh no.
Oh, or maybe not. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not Destiny 2.
I'm not gonna play that.
Slow-mo says no.
I'm not doing it.
Okay. So.
He'll play with it. He'll play with us though.
I don't think he will.
No.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Forte.
Especially now with any characters, because I deleted them all.
Oh, there you have it.
Well, you can start from the bottom like everybody else.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. There you go.
That's funny because you actually really did think I deleted them all. I haven't even installed the game in order to delete them all. That's too much.
I know you. That's what I'm saying. I know you didn't delete them all because you don't have the heart to do it.
Whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Sounds like
a challenge.
I do not care.
Listen, if Slow-Mo really wanted to be done with that game, he would log in and delete all three of his characters. But he ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that. That's the ultimate saying I'm done with this game right there.
I love how Forte just goes to the extremes. Like,
No, because it's the truth. I said it. I told people in my stream, if y'all really want me to quit this game,
there might be an extra special video playing during the podcast tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Hey, listen. I will applaud you, sir, if you did something like that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that
give
would
you
be
a standing ovation.
That would be pretty funny. Well, look, I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. Really appreciate it, as always. There would be no BRAP without the listeners. So, want to thank the ones that are listening live right now, the ones that will listen later on. So, want to introduce the panel here. We got Mr. Slow-Mo, King KD Backslap. What's up, Slow-Mo?
What's up, Enrique? What's up, Forte? What's up, chat? What's up, Erodimus calling me a fraud for
I see Erodimus, yes.
Like I must have angered the bot factory or something.
The bot factory.
Something
What's
I said.
that?
Yeah, the bot factory. That's
What's the bot factory? I'm not familiar with that.
Xbox fanboys. The bot
oh, okay, I got it now. That went over my head. Haha.
But no, I'm having a good day. It's been busy. I've barely been able to play anything, but I'm here. About to talk about some games. Finally, this is actually something to really talk about as far as gaming news wise, and these games about to start dropping left and right. So there's a lot to discuss. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have my good buddy here, the most handsome man in podcasting on YouTube.
Oh man,
Mr. Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
I'm drinking a Modelo right now, so
yeah,
definitely feeling really good.
Oh, hey, Modelo. That's actually a really good beer, by the way.
It is a really good beer.
Did you hear that drinking Modelo could increase the amount of kills you get in Halo Infinite by 5?
I didn't know that.
You should have seen what Amaretto Sours did.
I heard Amaretto Sours will melt your PlayStation 5.
Oh man, yeah. If you spell it just the right angle of attack, it absolutely can.
But it has to be standing vertically.
Does it need to be at like a 85-degree angle? Like what angle does the PlayStation 5 have to be at in order for that to happen?
I mean, you got to put it against a couple of different books. You got to put like a square. You got to square it off to a certain corner. It's all types of crazy stuff you got to do, man.
Okay, I'll test that out tonight. I'll turn on I haven't turned on my PS5 since I beat God of War Ragnarok. So it's been a few weeks. So I might need to
Oh man,
they went through a few updates or whatever.
See, he
ain't lying.
Few updates. Yeah, you're right. Slow-mo, you don't have to worry about the liquid metal dripping then, because you haven't used yours in weeks.
Well, yeah, that's true. You know,
Dre Watson said the bot factory is looking for you, bro.
I don't even know what happened with the bot factory. I know Slow-mo was like talking about something about cults or something, or
hey, look,
a cult or
Dre, the bot factory can find me on Halo Infinite. They ain't never gonna show up though.
I mean, you're not lying, Slow-mo. As much as we get called,
They don't want that smoke.
As much as we get called ponies, we're you can often find us on Halo Infinite playing Team Slayer and a variety of other multiplayer games. Well, mostly Team Slayer. So,
but Borkanchi says I haven't been gaming. All right, look, hey, you can believe what you want. I'm fairly certain I played more games than you so far this year.
Oh man, hey, big shout out to Bullboard Country, by the way.
Rocky Gaming says I will melt you. Show me your gamer tag, Rocky.
Oh boy. Oh, here
I
we
want
go.
to see it.
The bot factory's
gamer tag, sir.
The bot factory's coming after you now.
Hey, they ain't coming after me. There's a whole lot of barking and not enough biting.
Oh my god! All right. We got
Are you talking about are you calling them chihuahuas running around here, ankle biters and stuff, Slow-mo?
Oh man, I didn't say it, but biters, maybe.
No. Let's not do though. No.
Listen, man. Listen. Don't be talking bad about our chat, man. They here to support us. They could possibly be DPS members in the near future. We got to treat them with respect, Slow-mo.
That's a great point, Forte. I mean, Slow-mo, don't anger future customers, potential customers.
Shout out to Rocky Gaming. He actually is pretty legit, and he actually plays. He ain't played the game in over a year, or almost a year. It looks like, but he's pretty legit in Halo. Good for him. Well, he don't want to see me though.
Oh wow.
Oh man,
look me up, bro. Look me up.
Hey, you know what?
You don't want to see me.
But guess what? He a real gamer. He actually dropped his gamer tag in the chat. That's
what I said. I gotta give him respect. He dropped the gamer tag. He was like, yeah, this is me. What's up?
Rocky, like, okay,
yeah,
I respect it.
Props to Rocky.
He said, "Go see you in the backyard."
Usually when like you ask for a gamer tag, that's like crickets, like no one.
Yeah, that is the usual response.
Yeah, but crickets. Rocky's like, okay, I got you. Here's my gamer tag for the world to see, mind you.
But the thing is that when you got a good KD, of course you out.
I mean, you're not lying for Slow-mo. You're not.
Someone asks you for your gamer tag before they can finish the sentence. You like, it's ROCKY, like you off the break, like it's exactly how it's spelled. Yeah, look me up. When you got good stats and you proven, absolutely.
I'm with that, true. Man. Yeah, I love
it. It's the guys that be like the guys that was. We don't need to delay Halo Infinite. Nah, let it come out now. We wanted to come out now because PlayStation ain't got no games this holiday, so we can talk about that. Even though they ain't finished the campaign. Even though when they a bullet dumpster in multiplayer, and their KD is a .35. Those are guys that be just. Oh, they all talk, man. They all talk.
I mean, he got some really nice stats though. I ain't gonna lie. Here we go. That's really nice.
What's his KD?
1.18.
He's a 1.18.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad.
But people think that you got to have a 2.0 in Halo to be a great player. I'm like, dog, some of the best esport players in Halo got like 1.13 and 1.14.
See, with skill-based matchmaking, it's not like the same pool all the time. So it's like, like I have a 1.28 overall KD in Halo Infinite. But like, say like Agent Deli, who we know is legit. Agent Deli is a beast. His KD, I think, is like,
he's so modest.
It's less
too.
than mine. I don't know exactly what it is. It's less than mine, but Deli's a beast in the game. Like, it's like, don't just take the KD alone. Like, I would say anyone that's over a 1.0 with skill-based matchmaking, you're doing your thing. You're good. It's the guys that be like .62 and running their mouth. It's like,
There's a
no,
lot of those
skill-based
slow-mo. There's a lot
matchmaking
of
not even
those.
saving you, bro. Like, they trying to help you out by only keeping people your skill level around you, and you still getting dog walk. So like, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to speaking of gamer tags, I want to introduce B Money 101. What's up, B?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, bro? B Money.
Be knowing-ish. I can't say what I used to say because we don't want to get demonetized. So be knowing-ish.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that tonight, but then I'm like, if they like, I don't know if I want to talk about it because they might demonetize me.
I don't think they can demonetize you for talk. Look,
they apparently demonetized you for a video that blew up or short.
Well, that's other stuff. So like, I had a video, a Call of Duty video, a short YouTube short I put out. In like 30 minutes, it got like 2,000 views. I was like, wow, wait a minute. Like that's never happened for my, any of my views, my little small channel. But I noticed like when I went into my YouTube studio, it said limited, it was like limited. And instead of green showing for my video, it was yellow. And I looked into it, it was like limited ads, no ad revenue, questionable content. I'm like, what's questionable about it? It's like no different than any other Call of Duty highlight reel or whatever I upload. It's no different. So what's questionable? I challenged it. Hours and hours later, they go, nothing wrong. But the video didn't get another view. It's like they removed it from the algorithm or something. It's just like, so you got all those
shadow banned
ads. Pretty much, you got all those ads for those 2,000 views, but then as soon as you were going to have to like actually include me in the ad revenue, all of a sudden it's no longer in the algorithm to get pushed. It's like, I see you, YouTube. So like they've always been kind of doing stuff like that, but like it's wild because it's like typically YouTube will have an initiative, they'll push to do certain things like that, and then when they hear from the overall YouTube community, whether small, medium, or large creators, all telling them this is asinine, what are you doing, they may fall back on it. But it's like this time it's like, nope, we're not falling back, even though it's like they're retroactively doing this. So let's say you have a video that's like amazing, great, one of your best videos, your evergreen content, it's always in your like top 3 videos on a daily basis getting views, but you may have said a few curse words in that video, which were fine when you made the video. It was fine 3 years ago, but now it's not fine. So now the video gets demonetized. It's like, but their thing is they're still running ads on your video. So it's really kind of like, I mean, look, I'm not going to say the word, but everyone's thinking it. Like, you still running ads on videos that you demonetized.
Yeah. I mean,
you getting paid.
Yeah,
content
that's the funny thing, Slomo. Like they'll demonetize you, but they will still run those ads and make money. Does make sense.
Yep, makes no sense to me.
Yeah, someone says Angry Joe comes to mind real quick. Yeah, Angry Joe does like to curse a lot. So, yeah. All right. So, had an interesting conversation with Forte earlier today, and I don't know, Forte, do you want to share the story, man?
No, you got to show it now. You got to tell the story now. Y'all was going to tell it to me before we went live, and y'all was like, nah.
All right, so I have the Artist 7Ps, which are my understanding pretty good headsets. Highly recommended, and. I was like, you know what? I need some new headsets. Playing Halo Infinite. Can't hear the footsteps everyone's talking about. Oh, I can hear the footsteps. I'm like, what footsteps? I can't hear them. I can't hear the footsteps. It's maddening. And I got these $150 headsets. I can't hear the footsteps. So I'm talking to Forte. I'm like, Forte. I'm like, that laugh, jeez.
Go ahead, man.
I called Forte up on the phone, Well, because I wanted to talk to Forte, Forte's got a nice voice on the phone, Want to say hello to Forte, see how he's doing. So we start talking, and then we were having a conversation about the headsets, and I said, Forte, should I does this headset be connected USB to my PC? He's like, what? I said, yeah. I go, I have it connected via audio jack. And
What?
Forte's like,
Wait, what?
You had the same.
Hold up, go back. Wait.
You know what?
Wait.
all right, this is thank you everyone
Say
for
that
tuning
again?
in. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
No,
it's been a great rap.
no. Stop it. Say that again. You had it connected via what?
Do I really need to repeat myself?
Yes, you do.
Why?
do.
You heard what I
'Cause
said.
I know I don't. I could not have heard what I just heard. So please repeat it again.
I had it connected to the audio jack on my.
He had it hooked up through the audio jack, which is the 3.5 millimeter jack on his PC. He's like, I can't hear no sound. He's like, Forte, I don't really like these headphones. I can't really hear no footsteps. I'm like, I said, did you update the headsets through the SteelSeries app? He was like, well, every time I try to hook it up to it, it doesn't recognize it. I'm like, are you using the dongle? He's like, yeah. He said, well, no, because the dongle's on my PlayStation. I was like, that's the thing you do for your PC. He's like, but it's USB-C. I was like, there's a cable that comes in your box that has a female to male adapter in it to plug the USB-C in.
Oh my God, Enrique.
Look, in fairness, though, it does. The headsets do have the option to connect through the audio jacks. It does. It's a you can use it, Forte.
Wait, but he was like, why is it not sound so good? I was like, because you're playing in stereo.
So, all right. Jesus, man. Forte's like, Forte. Look, real quick, I'm gonna welcome Hamp to the panel. What's up, Hamp? All right,
Man, Enrique, you remind me of like my grandfather. But, God rest his soul before he passed. He was very just out of his depth with anything that you needed electricity.
Look. In all fairness, it does have the input, or you can hook it up via the 3.5 millimeter audio jack. It does.
Blame on not being able to hear footsteps and stuff. And
That
just
was
like
for a mobile phone. That's what the 3.5 was for.
Look. So, and then have
you ever looked at the instructions on your headphones?
No, I didn't read the instructions. I just took it out of the box.
We knew that. We knew that.
I don't like reading instructions. I just don't. Real quick, let me grab this super chat from the Ashley Luca. Luca with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Lucas. Is not Enrique sounding like the users I'd be getting at work. Wow. Okay. Thank you for that super chat, Luca.
Shout out
turn it off and turn it on again, Enrique. We got to start there.
Shout out to T-Rock 40 with the $2 super chat saying, "Brap out here making us look over 40 looking bad."
Look. All right, so Forte's like, what is that? He's like, do you have the dongle? I'm like, yes. He's like, well, you should have I'm like, but I don't have. He's like, you should have an adapter, USB-C to USB A adapter for your to hook it up to your PC. I'm like, I don't know, Forte. So I'm like, look, I have all these USB cables. I'm like just scrounging through these cables I have. Finally, I find one. I take a picture, send it to Forte. Forte's like, yes, that's the right cable. So, but I told Forte, I was like, Forte, whatever you do, you can't tell Slow-Mo about this. Because
tell the Slow-Mo about this.
Forte's like, I cannot not tell Slow-Mo because like I shared Slow-Mo the story that I had with you when I was trying to take out. Remember, I was trying to I was trying to install that yeah. So, oh man. Slow-Mo was like, Enrique, take the cover off.
Listen, man, this is why as you get older, you read up on how to start doing more and more stuff so you keep your mind fresh. And you might, and listen, there's nothing wrong with reading directions.
So
they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
On that note, so I connected via USB, and now I see it now detects the Artist 7Ps, it automatically puts it onto my the option my sound settings. It's there listed under devices, and so I fire up Halo Infinite. I'm like, okay, I want to see how it works. I changed the EQ settings, but there is a preset for Halo Infinite specifically for that game in the Artist.
Nice.
So I select that.
Hold on,
man, let me just tell you, I heard people walking above me. He is
about to give those headphones away to somebody in the community.
I knew when he was saying before, he was like, yeah, I got these Steel Series headsets. They're not that good. I was like,
what?
Are you sure?
Forte,
all the time Enrique has been playing through the audio check.
He was playing in mono stereo.
The bad part is he would have bought a new headset and did
the same
thing. Then he would have thought, he said, wait a minute. Then he would have been like, wait a minute. My audio device on my PC might be broke.
Enrique, we not laughing at you. We laughing.
Yeah, you are. Nah, you laughing. It's fun. But let me tell you, I enable the Halo Infinite preset that they have through the Artist app, and I'm playing. I am not kidding. I am hearing people walking. I'm below the platform. I'm hearing them walk above me. I can hear the clank, 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 clank of the feet, like as clear as day. And I know some guy was walking. I'm like, what the hell? Who's behind me? I turn around. He's right there. He didn't even see me. So now I'm hearing the footsteps.
Now I'm expecting you to go ham in Halo.
so your KD gonna go up like
at least 0.23.
No, I was like I went 7-7 first match and like 9-7 the second match. So I would say the KD's gone up, but it's definitely helping. It's helping.
Yeah, like Slow-Mo, you still can't play with us because when BRAP and I just play on our own, we win all our matches. But when you come in, you bump up the SBMM, so you still out.
How is this my fault? Like, why can't I play with friends?
When me and Hamp were on the other night, Hamp, what do we won 3-4 matches in a row?
Yeah, man.
Hey, look, when we got Forte and we had a whole squad, a fire team together, we won the majority of our matches, right?
We did.
So what's the problem? We had fun. We were calling people names. We were naming people things that we can't say on YouTube no more. We were having a great time. What's the problem?
Because we were working too hard, man. We were out there with them sweaties, so we don't need all that. BRAP and I, we win and we're chilling.
Yeah, it's. Let me tell you, man. When I play with Slow-Mo, I gotta throw on extra deodorant. Because I'm getting sweaty for playing the sweaties.
Look, then when Deli shows up, it's like we got to take a whole shower when we get off.
Exactly.
Right.
Deli pulls in people. Deli's pulling in the developers at that point.
Oh man, such a good game.
So
that part of the game, I should say.
So that was my Artist 7P experience. Thank you, Forte, for helping me,
welcome,
sir. Now I can hear the. Yeah,
I do want to say one thing since Luke is out in the crowd and Slow-Mo's on. So the whole reason that I actually even play Halo Infinite was because if you go back a year ago, I think it was a year ago, about when I was on Crossfire the one time, and we were having the discussion about Halo Infinite, and
I remember, yeah,
your guys' disappointment and Slow-Mo. Although I don't I throw no shade on this topic, but I think he was kind of casually calling me out when I want to say on the episode of the Scumcast after that, Slow-Mo made mention of people who didn't have a problem with Halo who, when you check their KD, were out there getting bodied, which may have been me because I didn't play Halo Infinite a lot then. I was very casual about it. But after that, I said, well, if I'm going to render an opinion on Halo Infinite, I owe it to go and play some more. And I've been playing pretty steady since then, 1,000 matches or something like that. So just a shout out to y'all that having that conversation and not really understanding why you guys were, felt the way that you felt about Halo Infinite turned out to be to lead to the experience of me spending more time with a Halo multiplayer than any other Halo multiplayer I've ever played.
Well, I would say I am glad that incidentally it led to that, because it's been fun playing with you. I was not talking about you though. I know. I could talk offline about who I was talking about. Yeah, I ain't trying to start that. I could talk offline about. Actually, it was a couple of people I was talking about, but like, no, it's you're not one of the bullet.
Oh, and they were trash. They were those .62s that we were talking about.
Exactly. just straight. Yeah, bullet dumpsters. That's what I call them. Bullet dumpsters. They're only good to just receive bullets and collect them in their bodies. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm glad that Halo shows your. You know what? The new stat that I'm gonna look for is not your KD. I want to look at your damage dealt and damage received. It's like, how are you even hitting people? It's a little hard to hit people in this game.
Yeah, what's your KDA? Are you hiding in a corner somewhere? Just shooting at people that may have just happened by you, or you out here actually trying to be a hunter? What you doing? What you doing out there? They do have very detailed statistics there.
They always had that. That's the one thing I like about Halo.
Yeah, you guys. When we were playing Call of Duty, you guys mentioned that, and I wish all shooters would do this. There needs to be like a distance traveled or something metric so that we can tell who the campers are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think we were playing COD, and I was saying Call of Duty, because there's way more camping in Call of Duty than any other shooter. Like, they need to have like an average distance traveled as part of, like, per match, as part of your statistics, because then that can kind of determine whether somebody is literally sitting in one spot and barely moving anywhere as they're just camping, or whether they're actually out here like taking some risk, actually trying to fight people. Like, it's different. Like, if your average distance is 30 feet, I know what's up. I don't care about your KD, bro. You're a camper. I can tell that right then and there. If your average distance is like 200-300 a match, I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see you moving out here. That's what's up. So yeah, but I don't know why that isn't tracked. I don't know, but maybe that will be.
I mean, I feel like it shouldn't just be tracked. Lots of times I would prefer things be these kind of draconian regimes that would make lots of people not play, but I don't care. But I would I would make it something that would be like, there would be like a minimum where if you don't move enough in a match, then you don't get as much XP or something out of a match.
Right.
But that camping mess is what made me go try out Ready or Not, which I really enjoyed the first few sessions that I've had in that.
Yeah, I might need to go get that, because I've seen a lot of the, like, shout out to BG, Broken Games HDR, because I know he plays it, and I've seen some of his live streams of it, and it looks fun. I just never had anybody to actually like run with. But yeah, I definitely would like to play that. I want to play like a more tactical shooter where, like, literally like it reminds me of old school Rainbow Six and old school Ghost Recon, where like a headshot could really just end you in a mission. Like, just, there is no health bar, there is no, ooh, you knocked my shield off. Nah, fam, it's a headshot. You dead. You out, bro. Watch your teammates finish the mission. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's not quite tuned as well. Like, I feel like because I played SWAT 4 when it was out, and played Rainbow Six Road Spear, all the Rainbow Sixes before they went console and got super casual. And I feel like the tuning of the damage, that you take versus the damage you deal out is not quite balanced right now. But it's still fun. I mean, it's just a shooter that, unless you, the people who do really well running it, I think I saw a video, I didn't watch it all the way through, of like a team that ran it that was, former Marines and police officers and stuff. And unless you understand all those tactics and all those squad tactics and how you breach a door and how you do a button hook and how you do a crisscross and how you cover down as you move into a room and clear, and things of that nature, and are running with people who understand those comms, it's incredibly difficult. So
I may not be able to play with y'all then, because I'll be using like real like signs and stuff.
We're not.
Mission, and I'll be like, what?
We're not
talking about.
We're not talking about Enrique saying, "I got your back. I got you up the back."
Yeah, I was just like,
well, I never said that. I never said I got you up the back.
I have it on Twitter.
No,
TikTok,
that's not what I said.
And Instagram. I have it on everything. You like we're trying to focus in. We were down 49-43. We're trying to focus in and win this match. I got like 3 kills in a row. Enrique's like, "Hey, Slow-Mo, I got your back. I'm in your back. I'm in your butt crack." I'm like,
I didn't say that. No, that's not lies. Lies.
I got your backside.
No, that's not what I said. I said, Slow-Mo, I got your 6. That's what I said. I got your 6 and I got your rear.
How many times did you repeat it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you could hear me.
There
was a lot of gut. There was a lot of gut
focus because there's a guy coming, and as I'm shooting the guy and killing the guy, Enrique's like, "There's a guy right there. There's a guy right there." I'm literally killing him, Enrique. I know he's right there. It was funny. And Hamp shouting out Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Hello, that's my favorite, man. Make crispy fry in a mug.
Hey, Hamp, can we get a Chick-fil-A real quick, Hamp?
No, I can't do that here, man. I can't act it. It's got to be in the moment.
Yeah, that's true. It does have to be in the moment. But what weapon are you using when you yell that? It's the what is it called?
I'm bad at knowing the weapon thing. I call it the disintegrator, whatever that beam weapon is.
The cinder shot. Oh no, you mean
the beam that like disintegrates you. It's like a consistent beam.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I see it and I forget the name almost immediately after I see it. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah. It's more short range, medium range than long range. Yeah.
Yeah. So we basically will fry you up, but that's why Hamp will be like crispy something or Chick-fil-A.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, I think he said Kentucky Fried Chicken one time. It'll just be like random too. Good times though. Good times. Yeah.
This is what it's like when you play games.
Yeah, no, it is. Of course, I had to throw my my.
Imagine playing games.
Imagine, right? And then I had to get my Bo Bear comments in, which was almost caught on YouTube by you, Slow-Mo. I think you edited it out there at the last minute.
I may have I should have put maybe like a half second, cut like a half second off because you did kind of get a little bit in there, but you decided to tag her on Twitter anyway, so I don't know why.
I did tag her. I said, "Love me some Bo Bear."
Look, man, that's not really good for us when we're calling all these people out about tweeting at POTUS and tweeting at Lena Khan, and then here you come.
Yeah, but my motivations are different though.
I got you.
I'm trying to meet her up at maybe at Morton's or something.
Morton's.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that weapon is called the Sentinel Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I want to say when you pick it up in the game. Yeah, when you pick it up in the game, I didn't think that's what it was called, but that's supposedly what it's called.
Yeah, but that's right. It does burn people to a crisp, and hence the Chick-fil-A. I don't do it as well as you do, Hamp, but oh man, we got to get back on some Halo Infinite. I did, like I said, I played a little bit today, and oh man, this commercial they're running a commercial for Forspoken right now in AEW. Wow, the commercial actually is pretty cool. Forspoken.
What Enrique specifically said was, "I got your back, Slow-Mo. I got your back. I got your 6. I got your rear." 4 times.
4 times.
Well, look. So there's a lot of explosions, and I don't want to assume that Slow-Mo can hear me. So that's why
But
4 times.
Oh, I understand because you were using the 3.5 millimeter jack. You think that Slow-Mo is hearing the same thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right. So who's excited for the Last of Us television show that debuts this Sunday? Anyone?
I am definitely can't wait to watch it. It was I saw that's gotten pretty good reviews. It's HBO, so like HBO puts a lot of money behind something. They usually make sure it's of high quality. Usually, like they really don't miss that often when it comes to their content. So I know there's some things like it was a whole deal about the spores not being there and why would you go away from the lore of the game. But I mean, outside of little things like that, I mean, somewhat little things now. But like, if you look at what happened if you played The Last of Us Part 2, the spores and Ellie's immunity to them is actually a part of the storyline. So it's like, I guess they're gonna have to make some changes when they get into season 2. But I mean, all that said, I'm still definitely excited to see it and give it like. I'm not trying to go into it because they made changes that I don't quite agree with, like already kind of like down on it or anything. I'm trying to remain as neutral and objective as possible, but I am excited to see it.
Yeah, no, me too. And like the reviews have been really good. Like there was some concern that the actors didn't read the source material, and a big shout out to Ramon Terrell who gave some insight on Twitter about that, why actors may not do that, because he actually is an actor. But no, he gave some really good insight on that. But despite the actor, the actress who plays Ellie not reading the source material or playing the video game, a lot of the reviews have said this is like the best adaptation of a video game to a television series. I think it was sitting at one point. I think it was at 100% run.
I mean, but what other adaptations have there been for not movies, TV series?
I mean, Halo.
I mean, like that's not Halo.
Well, it's the best. It's the best.
Show is awful.
Well,
man.
it was the best adaptation of a video game on a TV series. Is what they're so. But even it's interesting. Even Halo got greenlit for season 2, and Halo is actually Paramount Plus's like biggest like. Original programming series, ahead of like Yellowstone. 1883. Yellowstone's pretty popular. I'm not sure about 1883. I think it might be popular too, but Yellowstone is a popular show on Paramount Plus. But
it's the most
Yellowstone was a video game.
No. I'm saying like in terms of like original content that Paramount Plus has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Halo show was even more popular than that.
Well, I mean, like there's a huge gap between a Paramount Plus show and what HBO. Original content offers, like it's the gap is ridiculous. Like HBO TV shows, whether it be limited series, like I forgot the name of it, but the girl from Titanic plays a detective in a show that takes place in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's supposed to be a really good show. Kate Winslet. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I heard it's really
amazing.
Good.
Yeah, limited series, but it's really good. Like they put like the amount of quality they put on their shows. Like every now and then you get like stuff like the second season of what was the show? True Detective. Is it True Detective? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not True Detective. It's something else. But I know what you're talking about.
Detectives. It's something Detectives. Yeah, where the first season had Matthew McConaughey and. What's the other guy's name?
I don't know.
But they always get big name actors for that, and then they but they're only there for one season, which is smart because like most movie actors.
It is True Detective because Marshala Ali did the second season.
Third season. That's
third season.
Yeah. Second season was a bust.
Was it that was Matthew McConaughey or Vince Vaughn did seasons? I think.
Yes. Well, Vince Vaughn was in season 2. Matthew McConaughey was in season 1 with what's the dude? The guy Woody Harrelson. And in season 2 they had Colin Farrell and
Mayor of Easttown.
Mayor of Easttown. Yeah,
that's the
watch
show
that show. That show.
I gotta watch it. Yeah,
awesome.
What
HBO just makes good content.
HBO.
Man.
Oh, it's on HBO. All right, I got
you. I've heard really good things about them. Yeah.
Kate Winslet plays a detective of a small town.
I had a crush on her, by the way.
The murder of. Hey, look, I wouldn't. Hey,
What happened? What was that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Man, I tell you that. Hey, by the way, speaking of Kate Winslet, Titanic's coming back to the movie theater. But what I want to know is who asked for that?
Is it?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you why they do that.
It's a cash grab.
They bring it back because
and I'm
they
angry.
want it because it's about records. Because when Titanic first came out, it broke records. It was like the most watched movie in the theaters, and since then it's been like beaten by like maybe Avengers Endgame and
like every Marvel movie that's come out.
yeah, everything else is beaten it since then. But every now and then they try to like trot it back into theaters to try to pat that number. They do the same thing for Avatar too. They bring Avatar back into theaters every now and then too.
Is that why Top Gun Maverick came back into movie theaters just recently?
Yes, they want to pat numbers. Yeah,
because it was the number. Because Top Gun Maverick was number 1
for the year or for overall.
For the year they were number 2 overall.
Wow. Interesting.
Avatar, the Way of Water or
the Way of Water
guns or whatever you want to call it.
What'd you call that? Water what?
Water guns.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't
seen it either. I'm gonna go see it on Monday, I think. All right. So back to. I'm sorry. So I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to keep the show moving here. But what like? All right. So Last of Us. I think it was like 82, 83 on Metacritic. Which I don't know how true this is, but someone mentioned that that's actually pretty good for television programming on Metacritic. I think they said that like the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons was like high 60s in Metacritic or something. But
yeah.
So, but a lot of every review that I read was really just solid reviews all around. I mean, and you know, so this is I think this is going to be a big hit for HBO. You know, it's I think it kind of some of the reviews. I wasn't I wasn't too concerned about this television show because one, Neil Druckmann was involved, and it's HBO, like you said, Slow-Mo. You know, there's a certain pedigree there with HBO. Go ahead, B-Money. You were say something?
No, I'm just laughing at my dog.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited for this Sunday. All right. Any other topics?
Any other topics?
No. Well, apparently. All right. Who has their PlayStation 5 up vertically? By the way,
I do.
Everyone.
Everyone does. Is it melting?
Nope. I have 4 PlayStation 5s in my house, all vertical. And all of them are fine.
So, you know what's interesting is the media actually picked up in the story that was first written by, I think it was, and I wrote it down somewhere. I can't find it now. It was like Watto.net or something. I think it was. I have to look it up. Again.
It was Wololo. And
Wololo,
I mean,
thank you.
The initial reports about this, I mean, at least the reports that that Coder started putting out, he put out like 3 months ago, but the media is just latching onto it now.
Oh, wow. Okay. And the media did latch onto it big time. But that guy has since updated his, what he said and said that what he's, and actually that website said that they had misquoted him. The guy even said he was misquoted.
Correct. And so he wasn't really correcting anything he'd said. He was setting the record straight on what he said versus what the website said. And I would caveat the media picking up on this. I mean, lots of sites picked up on it. Lots of social media picked up on it. Credible, valid publications didn't pick up on it. As far as the ones that I track, they're in like my upper crust of what I look at. TechSpot ran it, WCCF Tech ran it, and Extreme Tech ran it. But I also know that Extreme Tech and WCCF Tech, it's not uncommon for them to get things wrong, and TechSpot. So, I mean, they're in my sites that I take a look at, but I also caveat that with, some of the things that they get out on the ragged edge. Every other place that ran with it was like a third tier, fourth tier publication. Your really big websites that don't run stuff unless it's corroborated or unless there's a ton of evidence around it, didn't run it.
Yeah, but my understanding now is the guy was basically saying like it's not an issue for PlayStations that haven't been open. Because he said something to the effect, and I got to go back and watch the video again. But I just
So the thing that came out that was incorrectly understood by people, and lots of things were incorrectly understood by people, was there was an interpretation that he had said things that like if a PlayStation shipped from the factory or into the supply chain and sat in a retail store or in a warehouse in the vertical position, then it would be affected. And that's what was misconstrued.
Okay. And I thought he also said something.
Still doesn't make no damn sense to me, but okay.
Yeah, but
exactly how many PlayStations have been reportedly confirmed to have this issue?
So that's the other thing that I think people are radically misunderstanding. And so, it's.
Wait, I'm sorry, real quick. So he did clarify about it being in boxes and it not melting. He also said it's standing vertically. Like if you've had it standing vertically for 6 months, it's not like that. He's not seeing that where like it's melting or
So clarification should be put around what Coder has seen. And back to Slow-Mo's question about what this may mean for numbers. So Coder runs as far as I understand it, a kind of small mom and shop type business right out of his, I think, home. I don't think it's a standalone building. What he mentioned is that in a year he's seen somewhere between 10 to 15 of these. He doesn't advertise. He's not a big operation. So it's not like he's the Geek Squad, right? Seeing everybody's electronics right in a local geographic area who's bringing them in his box. Also, a lot of what he sees are units that are put up on eBay that are either parts of a whole assembly or electronics that are put up in that category that eBay has that is like I forget what it is. It's not operational or for parts, right? It's not an operational unit, and he goes after those because they're listed as failed units that people had taken to repair shops that they weren't able to fix. Some of the ones that he's seeing are ones that have already been opened by repair shops. And so what he specifically calls out in his video is he calls out that he feels like the numbers are somewhere at 10% or below. So again, he's what he's seeing is anecdotal. He's seeing anecdotal units in a very small geographic area. He's seeing anecdotal units from ones that he specifically goes after that are specifically already damaged. And so that's, I mean, for me personally, that's kind of the thumb rule that's in my head, that we're talking about something that's in kind of the 10 percentile range. And until we know more, isn't indicative of a major problem approaching anything like the red ring of death. Again, not saying that isn't what it is, saying that we don't have any evidence that says that that's what it is right now.
Yeah, and I've seen people say that this is only going to get worse. It's going to be a long-term problem. I don't know how they're arriving to that conclusion, that in fact this is going to be a long-term problem. There's 30 million PlayStation 5s out in the wild now. I don't know. Maybe. I just chalk it up as wait and see. But I'm not concerned about it. I'm not concerned that this is going to be some kind of like red ring issue. And that's not to say there aren't issues with PlayStation 5s, coming off the assembly line. I mean, obviously there's some that are going to have issues. And Forte, I wanted to ask you about this, given your expertise in retail. Have you seen like faulty PlayStation 5s being returned to your stores or?
Oh, dude, I replace 2 to 3 a month.
Okay. And what are some of the issues? Like, is it
mostly HDMI, disk drive? I had like 1 or 2 where the operating system just went haywire on them. It would like boot up and then boot off, and the screen wouldn't stay on for longer than 10 minutes at a time. So on average, 3. I got like 3 at my store right now that are defective that I have to ship out, but. Yeah, that's about the average. 3 or 4.
So about 3. You're getting about 3 a month then. Okay.
3-4 a month.
Yeah. Someone's gonna write an article about what you just said, Forte.
I mean, it's still pretty high. I mean, but I just think also people just got to realize, and that's why I tell people, if you're spending that much money on a system, it almost behooves you, even if you don't get a warranty from your retailer, PlayStation sells a warranty. You definitely want to get that because it's just a good investment in that in general. But then I also think I also tell people too, for the most part, it takes a while to get those systems back. Like I haven't, like most people I know that had to send theirs back to PlayStation, you're kind of looking at like a 3-week to a month turnaround to getting it back. And then 90% of the time they're fixing the system you got. And me and Slomo had this conversation. We were talking about some other stuff that he was doing. I'm not with getting something fixed and them sending it back to me and it's the same unit you just fixed, because I just hate getting stuff that was broke the first time. So I just like being able to just switch my stuff out and get other ones. But for the most part, it's not as like widespread as some people think it is, but it is still an issue, and it's not just one thing, it's like a bunch of multiple things.
Yeah. Now the live, because you're talking about PlayStation 5 Forte, the chat wants to know about Xbox.
Oh, Xbox? Oh man, do we really want to?
They want to know how many Xbox you're seeing.
See, I don't want to get into that. You really want to answer that question?
Forte told me that like 25% of the defects that come back of the Xbox consoles has been that they said that it's not playing games.
Yeah. There you go.
Slow-mo.
That sounds good.
Slow-mo. The bot factory's coming after you now.
No,
but Forte. I mean,
let them come.
But
let them come.
So Forte, would you say it's less than 5 a month?
It's less than that.
Less than 2 a month.
It might be 1 a month.
All right, so there you have it. We have it confirmed. The Xbox is more reliable than PlayStation 5. Everyone, run with that article. Make articles.
It also might be.
I want to see this on Forbes tomorrow.
I'm about to make a video off of it right now.
It might just be the fact that there are just more PlayStations out there too. I don't. It is interesting because I never thought about that till you just mentioned it. That I don't remember the last time I had an Xbox come in on something wrong with it. It's been a while. It's like since before Christmas.
Since before Christmas.
Yeah, since I had a broke Xbox. But we've been selling, like I haven't had an X in a while. I haven't had X's in probably
in stock.
In stock, I haven't had an X in probably 3-4 weeks.
You know, I'm still not seeing. I'm seeing PlayStation 5s out in the wild now. I'm not seeing any Series X, but I am seeing Series S.
None.
I'm seeing Series S. Yeah,
it's a lot of S's, but I haven't had it. Like I said, I haven't had an S. I mean, an X at my store in over almost a month now. It seems.
All right. I expect Forbes to write an article about Forte's failure rate of PlayStation 5 versus Xbox. That is going to be tomorrow. You watch it. I'm calling it right now. Somebody's going to pick this up, and they're going to be like, Gaming Forte on the BRAP podcast said that blah, 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 blah.
So just to make sure there's some information put out there. So most often replaced Xbox Series X parts are the power supply, the fan, the Wi-Fi board, which is also a problem on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
The motherboard, and case components. So talk about kind of the mechanical components of the case.
And according to Slow-mo Games as well.
Oh man.
Slow-mo, you were messy. The bot factory's coming after you, man.
Hey man.
They're coming after you.
They can come after me and we'll pull that plug.
Look. Jesus.
So the big problem with the PlayStation 5 story, if you want to call it that, is like we talked about, right? People misinterpreting the data that's put out there of how widespread the problem is or may not be. Which, like I said, there's nothing other than the anecdotal data point to suggest that it's around the 10 percentile range. You know, one of the things that I've seen out there that you mentioned is right. People saying that this is a problem that's going to occur over time. And again, if you watch Coder's video, who's an electronics technician, you know, he talks about, right, just like with the red ring of death, this is not a thing that is going to happen to everyone. This is a thing that is going to happen to a very small number of people.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about the science and the engineering behind liquid metal and its use in the PlayStation 5. And this is one of the points of umbrage that I had with one of the other podcasts that ran around. One of the discussions on that podcast was that this was happening because a matter of the seal breaking. And I don't believe that that's the case. The foam seal that's instantiated around the chip enclosure on the PlayStation 5 is kind of, from an engineering aspect, of what I call a just in case move, right? It's a just in case something goes bad, we're going to put this seal around it. The way liquid metal should work when it's used as a thermal interface material instead of thermal paste is a small enough amount of liquid metal should be applied such that the concept of it leaking is not an issue. The amount that should be applied should not be anywhere near an amount that results in things like I've seen of the photo where there's, like a 4 to 6 inch leading trail of liquid metal running all the way down the PCB. So again, the notion that it's the seal breaking that's causing the problem doesn't sound to me accurate. And the seal breaking isn't something that should happen again to everyone who owns a PlayStation 5 who's sitting in a vertical direction. The seal breaking is not going to happen simply because of gravity, as one podcast suggested. That podcast also talked about that. At one point, it said the reason you don't have this problem on a PC is because you have a large heatsink and fan assembly with, a big Mongo, heatsink sitting on top of it, or a pump and a water block. And that's why PCs don't have this problem. But then later in the same string of conversation said that there's tons of stuff attached to the PlayStation APU that is above and beyond what you have on a PC. So again, I was kind of like, which one is it? Neither one is accurate. Where the PlayStation APU is located in the PlayStation 5 chassis, when it's in the vertical position, is actually pretty low on the PlayStation 5 chassis, and definitely below the center of gravity and center of mass on the PlayStation. So again, it's not subject to things that were mentioned in that podcast, like torque from the cooling fan at the top of the assembly, which also was mentioned in that podcast that was attached to the heatsink. There's no actual mechanical connection between that fan and the heatsink. That heatsink is actually far less dense than the heatsink on a PC because its weight is much wider distributed than a PC's is. So I think there are a lot of attempts out here to do a lot of mental gymnastics to explain why this is happening that are unnecessary. Key reason being because none of us are part of the hardware design shop at PlayStation or in charge of manufacturing at PlayStation. And I personally think that this is a manufacturing problem much more so than it is what a lot of people are running around calling a design defect. I think the key thing that's important is getting out to consumers how they can mitigate their risk of exposure to this, which is one, as some people have said, you can lay it horizontal, right? If you're really that concerned about it. I don't like to draw too many analogies, make too many anecdotes, but Asus has been using liquid cooling in its laptops for at least 3 years, maybe as much as 5. Laptops are obviously transported in the vertical position. So this isn't a problem that's endemic by simply the use of liquid metal. From the Sony perspective, I will say that using liquid metal exposes you to, as a company, exposes you to more risk of when a thing goes wrong, there's greater impact, because the problem with liquid metal is that it is electrically conductive. And so if it does get outside of the assembly, it can cause shorts right on the PCB, whereas thermal paste is not largely electrically conductive. And so if on a PC build, if you utilize too much thermal paste, you're just going to get some crud on the edges of the CPU right on top of the integrated heat spreader. So the impact of that liquid metal getting outside of that enclosure is a problem. But at the end of the day, I don't know that putting your PlayStation 5 really exposes you to, it doesn't expose you to something going bad. It exposes you to the impact of something going bad. That something going bad was going to happen because of the design inherent in the PlayStation 5 and any potential manufacturing problems anyway. So like I said, if you're really concerned about it, you could put it horizontally. The notion, I think, in that conversation about, what is Sony going to do about this? This is the thing that consumers should also kind of think about and be aware of, right? Let's say that this goes down the path of the red ring of death, and Sony says, hey, this is a manufacturing problem. We're going to extend the warranty. once sorry, I'm having a problem coughing. Once they extend the warranty, you're going to have to go through escalation and getting your PlayStation 5 attended to and yada, yada, yada. I think one thing that was mentioned on that particular podcast was, that person got the red ring of death 7 times and Xbox, fully paid for it every single time. So I had an Xbox 360 during that era. I got 5 red rings of death. It was attended to by Xbox, but it was not a painless experience. And my red ring of death problem started happening before Xbox formally acknowledged that this was a problem, which didn't happen until 2 years into the life cycle. So these things are problematic. They're not clean. Companies aren't gonna just globally, right, pay for everyone's PlayStation 5, right, to be returned. Remember, with the red ring of death, there was no recall. All those things weren't brought back. Again, I would expect a similar thing in this situation. It's going to be a matter of where you get it. You are able to submit and file to get it attended to after the fact. And so that is something that you should keep in mind. So my overall point is I think there's just, as I mentioned, there's a lot of mental gymnastics trying to explain why this is going on, why it's a bad design, and that all makes for a great episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette on a podcast. But I think what's most important is for people to understand what they can do to, mitigate the risk and establish expectations for how Sony's going to handle it if this does wind up being a larger issue. Like I said, I wouldn't expect some great grandmaster recall of every PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Thank you for that inside, Hamp. Yeah, what was the failure rate for the 360? I was just talking to Nate in the live chat. I thought it was 15%. He's saying it was like 30%. Do you know what that was? Just out of curiosity.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
That don't seem right. Something that said, okay, I'm seeing all kinds of different numbers. One is saying 54%. And then another one saying 5%. So I'll keep looking. I need to find a real accurate number.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like there's like EB Games, GameStop, Best Buy claim failure rate of the Xbox 360 was between 33%. But then there's I think there's a website called Square Trade published a report saying that it was about 12%. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see what excuse me, what the failure rate is. So, but no, Hamp, thanks for that insight, sir. I do want to move on to another topic here. Let's see here. I'm sorry, give me a sec. All right. Ubisoft cancels 3 games, slashes targets, citing worsening macroeconomic conditions. If you're listening, Everborn Saga, there's your favorite word, macroeconomics. Ubisoft said it expects 2022 net bookings to come in at 725 million euros. That's 799.4 million, lower than an earlier target of 830 million euros. The French video game publisher cited poor performance of its Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 23 titles, as well as changing economic environment. Ubisoft said 2022 net bookings will likely fall 10% after an earlier forecast called for an increase of 10%. Now, they've also canceled 3 announced games and slashing their full year financial targets. Again, blaming it on worsening macroeconomic conditions. So they kind of like, and I gotta find this. They kind of like issued this kind of like warning of like, hey, we need to get a hit out there. I got to pull up the quote.
So one thing I want to ask, and think maybe Slow-Mo's memory on this, is any of this new?
Well, yeah, this specific thing, there was an earnings call. No, wait, okay, but there was something.
It was an earnings call today or something.
It was an earnings call. Yves Guillemot spoke to, I think, investors today, but then he also spoke internally to the employees, and basically spoke about. I need to go find. I don't want to misquote him, but go ahead.
And I saw that. I want to. I'm not trying to be caustic, but I want to separate a little bit of the let's call it the leadership stuff, right, from the business stuff. What I mean is the production pipeline stuff of the titles that were canceled and the restructuring of the production pipeline. Is any of that new? Because I don't recall it being new. I mean, we knew they restructured their pipeline at the end of near
so
end of the fall.
I know what you mean. Yeah, they restructured again after that. So
after
they
trying like free to play stuff, right?
It's been going on for like 5 years now.
Yeah, they keep changing their focus of what they're focused on. Before it was like every game was the same open world UbiSoft format. Then they switched to we're gonna go live service free to play games everywhere, and we're gonna take our well known IPs and then make them skins of clone games from other successful titles, like Escape from Tarkov. Well, we're gonna make our version of that called The Division Heartland. Whoops, I wasn't supposed to say that, but I did. Whatever, it's the same thing anyway. I played it. So what? So they
You just broke NDA, man.
I don't care.
But I mean, we got another drumbeat of that at the tail. I don't want to say the tail end of last year. I would say at some point in the fall, what we got was here's the restructuring. We're not going all live service. We're going to take Assassin's Creed, and we understand that we have a consumer base that is split. We have some people who really love the open world stuff. We have some people who really love the original Assassin's Creed, and we have some people who are going to be interested in the live service stuff. So rather than saying we're going to double down on one, we're doing all three. And that's when we got like the big announcement of like this massive restructuring of the Assassin's Creed production pipeline, and we got like the different titles that are going to serve the different communities. So
yep, and they also canceled 4 games that had not been announced yet, but they just said we forget it. We're not going to announce the game, and we're not going to go forward with that game because it no longer fits what we're trying to do currently. Now, what came out today is that they have gone forward and canceled an additional 3 more games on top of the 4 last year.
Okay. That's
so,
right.
Gotcha.
Yep. So yep.
So that's the new thing, and there's
Skull of Bones got delayed again. That was the other thing.
And they talked about cost reduction for in divesting of non-core assets, which I mean, I don't know exactly what they mean by that, but a Skull and Bones got delayed again for like the 800th time, and it just seems to me like I was talking to Benji Sales on Twitter a little earlier about this, and we both kind of agreed that it just seems like it, especially in light of like Tencent investing in them, which we've all seen this scenario play out before, where Tencent invests into a developer that needs help, but they're not really changing what needs to change in order to get themselves out of the rut that they're in. And what eventually ends up happening is that Tencent ends up just acquiring the entire developer over a course of time. I think that will end up. If things don't change, the trajectory that they are on looks like it could be next year to 2025, where Tencent has acquired UbiSoft. Like they own UbiSoft in some way, shape, or form. But I think, and something that me and Benji had talked about, that like massive entertainment is going to be really important for them. That they're probably their most important developer right now, because they are the developers that's doing the Avatar game that's coming out this year, and they're also doing the Star Wars game that's coming out this year. If those games hit, it might really like potentially reverse, if those, with huge IP like that, could potentially reverse the issues they're having right now. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in that, especially with the Avatar game looked the first time they showed it. No, I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'll have to give it some more reconsideration, and I talked it over a little bit with Everborn today. Like the production pipeline stuff, I felt like we've been hearing about this restructuring going on in the background, right, for time immemorial. The leadership bit that came out today about, hey, I'm asking for everybody's full commitment and energy this year. I don't know. I personally feel that's a big nothing burger. I'm like, what else is a CEO gonna say to his people in January when everybody comes back from break? Hey, all employees, I'd really like half of your guys' energy and 3/4 of your commitment for this year. Let's really put it down.
Also, real quick, I didn't like how he said, let's deliver on time and on budget. And it's just like, I hate when I hear stuff like that because it always seems to end up being the game was on time and on budget, but was it good? Was it ready? And it usually ends up being like an incomplete, buggy mess. And they needed more time. And they need a bigger budget in order for it to be the level of quality that people expected and wanted. But because that wasn't what was in the cards, or they just weren't getting another extension, they weren't getting another delay. So be it.
Man. Listen, man,
Comes out the way it does.
That's what Budgie out here teaching people.
Yeah, and I mean, my feeling is I would agree on all three. And again, I'm a big budget and schedule person, and I mean, it's what I've said about Microsoft, right? Like, look, if you're going to go over budget and you're not going to be on time, that's fine, but there's going to be consequences of that, and you're not going to tell me about that at the last minute, Todd Howard, while you're running around. I saw the tweet today about like, Starfield, launches in 201 days, right? And then we're going to have a conversation about the game's not making it on time, like as we're going into the fall. No, that's a problem. But I don't disagree. A lot of this to me, like I said, we've heard about the turbulence at Ubisoft for a long time. It doesn't really have a big impact in kind of how I think about that company, or the confidence or lack of confidence that I have in the company's games. It all comes down to what they put out next, when, and how it lands. And I think a lot more weight is being given to the Yves Guillemot statement than is necessary or warranted. As far as their ability to be taken over by Tencent, the thing I don't fully understand, I'm trying to backtrack and go through it now, is, there were restrictions put around them doing that deal in making the additional investment. And the investment's not in Ubisoft, it's in Guillemot Brothers Limited, which is actually the holding company that holds stock in Ubisoft.
True. That's true. Yeah.
So what this sounds a lot like to me, going back again to this deal being being tied up, which was in September. It sounds a lot like as if somebody looked at what happened with RIM, with the I can't remember was it Lazaridis? I can't remember the two guys who were the heads of Research in Motion, but it sounds like a lot of kind of maneuvering so that when whatever goes down, the Guillemot brothers will be financially good. And also won't have their hands tied a lot in what they do by shareholders. And so
they cover their own butts.
Right. And so there might be a maneuver like they're going to get themselves out of it and then let whatever goes down be between Tencent and the shareholders. But I think there's restrictions on the timeline by which that can happen. Tencent currently or at the time had like 4.5%. And I think the Guillemot Brothers Limited, and they can raise it from 4.5% to 10%. They also have no operational veto authority in discussions about decisions that are made with Ubisoft. So they've got some time before they can actually take action and actually do anything to take over the company. I don't know if it's as soon as a year. My feelings on it last year were that it was longer than that. But what we have mentioned is right. What I've said is that the industry is sliding towards consolidation. I would argue sliding towards mass consolidation, and that's going to start to, gravitationally orient around platform holders, and or potentially large conglomerate of the biggest third-party publishers. And so this is just one, that is obviously going to be on the chopping block and is part of that. Of that distribution of revenue that's going to get consolidated, whether that happens with a platform holder or with a large conglomeration of the third-party publishers getting together and forming a bigger organizational block.
Yeah, no, that's a great point here. And
I got a question for you guys in regards to this, because I'm not gonna say I'm a Ubisoft fan, but I've enjoyed a lot of their games over maybe the past decade, especially like the Division games. I'm a big Division fan. The Division 3 is rumored to be in development, but still currently unannounced. I have an idea that that kind of game is probably safe because it's a well-known IP. Maybe like some of the stuff that got canceled, the stuff that's like new IP that didn't have like any kind of brand that people can get behind. They don't have a built-in player base already set up, like an Assassin's Creed or Ghost Recon or Splinter Cell. But there's supposed to be one large unannounced AAA game they got coming out anywhere between April 1st to March 31st of next year. What do y'all think that is? Hello?
Yeah, no, I was gonna let somebody take that.
the next Dance Dance Revolution or another Rabbids game.
Oh my god! Well, I think it'll be too soon for another Rabbids game, even though they said that underperformed as well, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because the first one was awesome, and I haven't got a chance to play the second one yet, but I heard it's very good. Those games have always been good, but yeah, they said that underperformed, so maybe too soon for another Rabbids game. But I think it may also be too soon for a Division. Well, it's not too soon for a Division game. They're well overdue for one. But
what about Assassin's Creed? I mean, is that would that be out of the question?
I think they already last year
for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they revealed the timeline for Assassin's Creed. That's not it.
Okay. Not it.
And
okay.
I don't think it would be Splinter Cell, because from what I've heard is that the Splinter Cell game has been rebooted like 4 times.
Yeah, that's
so
2 years away.
Yeah, it's a few years away. It's not coming out within this time frame. So I have no idea what this game might be, but it's an unannounced game, so it can't be the Avatar game, which looks terrible, and it can't be the Star Wars game because they already announced that, and it's way too soon for that to come out as well. So I don't know,
if you got a game, if it's another licensed product though. Just because they have the Avatar, they have Star Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Marvel title or something.
But wouldn't it be, if it's supposed to come out within the next 13 months, right? Because it's supposed to come out between now and March 31st of next year. Y'all haven't even announced it yet. Like, you haven't even shown the game yet.
I would think it would be another the next iteration of Ghost Recon.
I mean, maybe that might be it. Man.
Because the last game was so bad that they got to go back to the drawing board.
And they canceled their battle royale wannabe version of that.
Right.
They canceled. I forgot what they called it, but they canceled that Ghost Recon game. So maybe they took like the assets from that game and turned it into some abomination. I mean that I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't say Ubisoft wouldn't do that, but like I just can't see them be able to put something together that quickly. I don't know, man. I'm just when I read that, I was just like, and they haven't announced it yet, and it's supposed to be a big game that's coming out soon. Like,
how's it? Did they say it was supposed to be a new IP, or is it just a big game?
One more large unannounced game for the fiscal year starting April 1st through March 31st of next year. That's what Steven Totillo reported.
Yeah, so if we just look at their IPs, there's potential that could be a Far Cry game.
Far Cry 6 came out last year or 2021?
2021.
Yeah, it could be Far Cry at that point, by a different studio than the one that did 6. Maybe the studio that did 5, because they got like 30 studios. I mean, literally, I'm not even exaggerating. They have the most studios out of any publisher that's out there. So, which is part of the problem with acquiring them, is that you got to deal with all of that, like, extra stuff with all those people. But yeah, it could be. I think that might. Yeah, B, you might be right about that. I think Far Cry might be the best bet by a different team, likely using the same assets, the way they always do, like they did with the Ghost Recons. Where, what was the one that came out after Wildlands?
Breakpoint.
Breakpoint was using assets from Wildlands in Breakpoint in order to get Breakpoint out. The same way, Assassin's Creed Odyssey used assets from Origins in order to help that. And then a lot of their support studios are working on the same games, so it's just easy to same engine, same assets, same everything else. They just reuse it. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe either Ghost Recon or that, but yeah, probably Far Cry.
Can I mention what I would take or what I'd be interested in?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
So what I would actually love to see, given that lots of the, like you mentioned, right, lots of the Ubisoft franchises that I loved and grew up with, Rainbow Six, the Ghost Recon games, are broken in some ways now. Given all that we see about like the meta and how these games go hand in hand with television properties, I would actually totally be up for a Jack Ryan game that leaned a little in the direction of kind of Splinter Cell. So kind of, it was a single player, one character focused game that, looked at a lot of like covert operations and him kind of working alone. With some various characters kind of supporting, some of the things that he was going through. I think that could actually be, some effective storytelling if they kind of leaned into the way the Amazon Prime series is kind of retelling that story.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the last Splinter Cell game they made. Was that Conviction, I think?
Blacklist was the last.
Blacklist. Yeah, that I think that sounds like a Blacklist, like what Splinter Cell Blacklist was, which I thought was. I'm not a huge Splinter Cell fan, but I played Blacklist. I thought that was pretty good. But
that game looks good on PC still.
It looks amazing on PC right now.
Yeah, ultra settings, man, like 120. Woo!
It looks beautiful on PC, but it didn't sell well, so Ubisoft don't care. I think I would love to see a Division 3. I'm as a Division fan, the Division community, like the way they treat the Division community is even worse than what Bungie treats the Destiny community. Honestly, it's pretty messed up. They just went radio silent on the live service game and didn't answer any questions for 9 to 10 months. That's just egregious. But how they announced the Division 2, where they didn't say anything at all for like years, and then said, "Okay, Division 2's coming next year." Like out of nowhere. I would kind of hope, like maybe it's just me as a Division fan hoping that wherever it is a Division 3 and that people will come back and play it because it's the Division. But considering how they haven't said anything, they haven't done any marketing for whatever it is, I'm thinking it's probably just another live service game. It's another, here's a popular title out there that we're going to take one of our IPs and clone that game and just put a skin of our IP on it and call it Rainbow Six Armageddon, and it's just like it's a clone of Ready or Not or something. Which actually no, Ready or Not's a clone of Rainbow Six. Forget that. It's a clone of like I don't know, Apex Legends. Like just something popular that's live service that they're trying to latch on to. That would seem like something that you would just announce out of nowhere and then hope it lands with almost next to no marketing.
Did they say that title was a console title?
No, it's no additional information about the title. But
So,
I mean, but all their games launch on everything. Like even if Stadia was still around, they'd be launching on Stadia. So like it would be a multi-platform thing.
Well, I mean, I just want to throw out, I mean, like, not forgetting that Ubisoft has a mobile division as well.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
And all those games on mobile, aren't necessarily one for one on PC. A lot of them lean on the IP, but they're their own standalone game.
Right.
I wouldn't put it past them to pull a Blizzard and make a big announcement like it's a really big deal and then go, oh, but it's mobile.
Piss everybody off. Diablo was that Diablo Immortal? Was that what it was called?
I think so. Yeah.
And actually, incidentally, on the Ubisoft mobile store, there is a version of The Division that's announced as coming soon. The Division Resurgence.
That's the mobile game. That's their mobile Division game, which they've been pushing really hard. That literally everyone in the Division community is like, get that crap out of here. Yeah.
Are people still playing that game? I think I've been on the Division forever, Slow-mo.
It's the hardcore still play it, but it's because it has got almost no content updates, and the original team is massive entertainment. Like now Massive's like 800, 900 developers. They're almost like 1,000 developer studio, but they're making Star Wars and Avatar. They don't have time for a Division, and so they push that to one of their other
those Avatar Star Wars games
teams.
need a hit.
Yeah, they need to hit, right?
But
they've pushed like the Division to UbiSoft, Budapest, and like a couple of other studios. They even Red Storm, who was the other studio that was doing the Dark Zone and all the multiplayer stuff, all the PvP stuff. Red Storm is making Division Heartland. So it's like they don't have their best developer on the Division anymore. And the guys they put on there, they just threw the game at them. Them dudes had never used the engine before. They didn't know what they were doing. That whole entire time when they went radio silent for nearly a year was them trying to even get their head above water with the game and understand how the game worked, which was just like, who does that? Like what kind of decision making is going on here? It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's the community would come back and play it if they actually had quality content to play. They came back and played the New York expansion they did for Division 2. That was great, but it's just like, how many times are they going to do stuff like that? It's not often.
Same as much as Bungie did.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, live service games for the most part are. Something needs to change, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't trying to start blowing people up, but something needs to change because the way they're going about treating their communities and treating the people that are actually bringing the money in is just not. It's not cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. That's any other thoughts on Ubisoft before we move on?
Ubisoft.
They stink.
Let me get this. Let me get this super chat real quick.
At least we
go ahead.
At least we're still getting Splinter Cell.
I don't know. I hope so. Go ahead, B.
I was gonna say they would be fine if they would just stick to what they know. Go back, make the original Rainbow Six game, make the original, and I mean, they'll find the audience. Like every game does not have to be this game that sells 100 million copies and has 80 million active users every month and all that other shit. Like stick to what you know. You know what I mean? Make quality content, make great games, and people will come over there. You will have a solid audience, and just cater to that audience who's paying attention to what you're doing. When you try to, be a well and try to get everybody, that's where you see all those failures. They keep trying to, be like everybody else, come out with all these, live service games, and all of them look trash. And before they can even get out, people are not interested in them. So just go back to what you know. Do what you do best. There's a reason, you became one of the best third-party developers out there. You stuck to what you knew. You came out with great IPs. You leveraged the Tom Clancy license. Go back to what you know, and everything will be fine. Stop trying to be like everybody else.
I agree.
So B brings up an excellent point, and that is the point that links solidly to my opinion that the industry is going to continue sliding towards consolidation and mass consolidation. Because when you talk about what B said, that is the voice track that we hear from everyone. We hear it from Square Enix. We hear it from Ubisoft. We hear it from EA, right? And unless you're doing something like Activision with a big, massive, gargantuan beast like Call of Duty, everybody keeps talking about dissatisfaction at the financial performance of just about everything, right? Unless you're building this monstrosity like Call of Duty, Fortnite, other games that are like that out there. And I saw BRAP going back and forth with somebody right in chat. I mean, that's the thing that, spiraling production costs, people not being satisfied, shareholders not being satisfied with just kind of average or common performance, in my opinion, is what's going to start, is going to continue on pushing everyone towards, trying to build these massive production pipelines with, 8 or 9 studios. We talked about it on Really Enough to Keep Going weekly show most recently, and we're like, look, Call of Duty has 3 tier 1 studios backed up by like 7 backup and support studios. And those 7 backup and support studios include studios like Raven, who could make a AAA game by themselves, right on their own. Like their backup and support studios would be like AAA tier 1 studios at any other publisher in the industry. Right. And it's just, we just keep seeing the approach. You know, we talk about Ubisoft, and Ubisoft got to where they were from a production pipeline standpoint and a harmonization of those studios standpoints from a much more, I feel like, I don't know, altruistic isn't the right term, but when they originally started kind of stringing those studios together and commonizing their technology, because a lot of things that get talked about is Ubisoft also uses a lot of common engines and tools that keep the developers trained and familiar with the same technology, so that leveraging their, you know, a fungible resource, you know, a developer at a different studio onto a different project, even for a short time period, is not, you know, isn't the massive shift and change, right, that it is for other companies that don't use common engines and tools. You know, they were trying to do something a little different, right? They were just trying to do that. They were trying to make it so that people could get support from developers who had extra cycles, right, regardless of where they were in the world. But it has, over time, drifted towards this thing, like to put an Assassin's Creed together, you got to have like 5, 6, 7 studios, right, of everybody working on the same game. But I just think we're going to continue seeing more and more and more and more of that. And, you know, people like Square Enix, who own some of those prized properties, right, in the industry, saying that basically they're not satisfied with their financial performance despite slagging off their Western studios. And so now they need to do NFTs.
Yeah, let me grab this real quick. Let me grab the super chat before I forget. Sir X-Men with the $2 super chat says Beyond Good and Evil 2 should be the next release. Thank you for that super chat, Sir X-Men. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be, they said it was an unannounced game, so that's why, like, Beyond Good and Evil 2 had been announced like years and years ago. Like, I actually kind of feel like that game will never come out. That's just my opinion.
It's never coming out.
Yeah, the guy, the original lead director for the original game, who was leading the direction of the second game, has completely left Ubisoft. They have restarted development on it and refocused the game and what it's supposed to be doing. So like whatever they showed us, which I think was all basically just CG trailer stuff, not a lick of gameplay. Like whatever they were showing us originally, like may not even be what we end up getting when we actually ever see any gameplay of the game. So it's just, yeah, I don't think that game is coming out. I kind of feel like the only reason why they're even bringing out Skull and Bones is because they spent so much money on it already. They want to try to get some kind of return on investment, at least break even. Because at this point, it's just like...
And at that point, that's why you shouldn't buy that game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think there's a good chance we'll still see Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is involved, right, trying to get all your content into the game. So, I mean, that's a big Hollywood star power behind.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't know. I hope we see it, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think B made a great point about how they just don't. They need to be themselves. They need to have their own identity in their own games and stop trying to copy everyone else. I kind of feel like EA was doing the same thing that Ubisoft was doing until Respawn and Vince running Respawn kind of showed them like, no, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to force all your developers to try to fit a particular format and only use your game engine, which hasn't been designed for anything other than Battlefield, and just essentially doing everything that everyone else is doing. You don't have to do those things. You can actually make original content that's different. And then we see stuff like them publishing It Takes Two and allowing Respawn to not use Frostbite in their games, and they've come out with just nothing but quality content. Even Titanfall 2, that like was a sales failure, but you play that game today and it holds up. Campaign's awesome. You know, it's an awesome game. They make good games, and so I think EA has learned that their lesson, but Ubisoft is still in that rut where they're just like, so what do we need to do? What's hot right now? But it's like they keep missing the wave. like the wave has come and like Fortnite's riding that wave and they just on the beach getting their surfboard trying to run out there and catch it. It's too late, bro. You weren't there for it. Do your own thing. Catch your own wave.
Yeah, that free to play hasn't really worked well for them. I mean, they try to do that battle royale game. What was that game? They the last one they tried?
Hyperscape.
Hyperscape. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hyperscape,
that game sucked.
Yeah.
Bad.
So, but I agree with the B thing. Go ahead, Ham.
Well, the one thing, and the difference is, right, and it's always enjoyable to look at these things as case studies, right, and just study it. Right? The difference with when EA does a knockout city in a Rocket Arena, right, which were complete F-ups, right? The difference is EA falls back on Madden and FIFA and other things in their portfolio, but Ubisoft doesn't have that. They do have Rainbow Six Siege, right, which is a big deal, but they just don't have the robustness of portfolio that you know some of these other companies have.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Madden is a beast. So is FIFA's huge globally. And they got that they hit with the Star Wars game. God, what's it called?
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, and Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Even as bad as Battlefront was, they still made a lot of money on that game.
That game was terrible.
So,
but you're right, B. They did make a lot of money.
That's the one thing that I always say is like when you have those games where you can kind of lean on, those are the studios and companies that should be taking the risk. You know what I mean? So like when you do a a dodgeball game and a roller skating game and it's not what you thought it was going to be, it's like, okay, that was cool. At least we tried something. It didn't work. You know what I mean? We still have FIFA. We still have Madden. You know what I mean? We still have these things we can kind of lean on, and we'll go back to the drawing board and see what else we can do. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If more of the bigger companies were doing that, like, there's no reason why Activision shouldn't have other games that they release besides just Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Speaking of Forte, are you sleeping, man?
No, my nose is stumped up. Not sleeping though.
Slow-mo, is he okay?
I don't know, man. You all right, Forte?
No, not really, but okay. I'm good.
Yo, are you sure you're okay?
No, but not really.
No, not really.
Do you need to go? Do you need to go, Forte? You don't.
No, my allergy. Literally, my nose just started itching, and I was like trying not. I'm good.
He said, "No, not really."
Not really, but no, I'm good. Let's go.
All right. Right. Speaking of new content, former studio head creator Mike Brown and some other folks, Mike Brown and other folks who are behind the popular Xbox exclusive first party game from Forza Horizon have left. I don't know why I said that. Roll my R. Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon have left to form Maverick Games.
Maverick
Games.
I thought Mike Brown was head coach of the Sacramento Kings.
He is, but
that's got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Businessman in entertainment.
Yes, he's coaching and he's also in entertainment. It's funny. So Mike Brown, who was previously creative director of the Forza Horizon franchise, will be joined by other ex-Playground veterans that include executive producer Tom Butcher, CTO Matt Craven, content director Gareth Hardwood, audio director Fraser Strachan, if I pronounced that correctly. Ben Penrose has joined the company as art director from Sharkball, but he's also a former Playground employee. And then Ellie Marshall, who was named UX UI director, following her was experienced design director at Electronic Arts, or EA, as it's known. So, and then the studio is set up by CEO Harinder Sagna, if I pronounced that correctly. Sagna is an award-winning studio leader who helped form Sega Hardlight and Sumo Leamington. So, right now the company stands about 10 employees. They're looking to grow the company to about 140. And are looking to make an open world premium AAA game for consoles and the best gaming platform to play video games on, which is PC. And if you're not gaming on PC, you're doing it wrong. there is my bias for the show. For all those people who think that I'm a PlayStation fanboy or Xbox fanboy, no, PC is my platform of choice. All right. Let's see.
So let's cue all the rumor and gossip stories about this is why Fable development is in trouble.
I wasn't even talking about that, but that's a fair point. I mean, there's a lot of speculation out there that this is why that Fable development's in trouble. Another example of people wanting to leave Microsoft. But no, I mean, look,
I just don't. Like, it's cool that they went and started their own studio and all that, and I just found it interesting all the stuff that they said, in their interview with GameIndustry.biz, because it's like, if Microsoft is giving like all the studios all this freedom, and Obsidian and Ninja Theory have these smaller teams that go out and create games or whatever, like, why couldn't this happen under that umbrella? You know what I mean? Like, what was the reason for saying the stuff that you said and leaving to create your own studio with, they currently have like 10 people right now. They want to get to 140 people or whatever. Just some of the stuff they said, it didn't make sense to me, just based on all the stuff that we know about Microsoft and how they, kind of treat game development.
I think some of the I read some of his comments, and like even the creation of the name Maverick Studios is based upon what he was described in his annual reviews at Playground Games as a maverick. So like it's kind of, and he kind of talked about like some of the things that B just mentioned, with like freedom to do things differently and to not just do what's necessary to get the game ready for launch. And I think the creative freedom aspects are like it's a more on a macro level for Xbox than the micro level. So what I mean by that is the heads of Xbox are like, these studios have a creative freedom to make what they want, but at Playground Games leadership is like, thank you for that. We still doing Forza Horizon exactly the way, like Forza Horizon 5 is going to be exactly how we did Forza Horizon 4. We're not going outside the box. We're not coloring outside the lines. Hey, Maverick, get yourself together. What you're trying to push right now is going to get us behind schedule. Forget that. We're just doing what need to be done for this game. And he was the lead director for Forza Horizon 5, but I mean, he didn't do 4. He didn't do 3. So it's like for him, it's probably like, I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over again, which frankly, I get it. Because if I was me, like I wouldn't, I don't even like playing racers. So for me to be making a racer, that's all I make, I would lose. I'm leaving. I forget that. I would do it one game, and then I'm off trying to do something else that I'm more interested in. And so it makes sense to me that they wanted to go off and do something they were more interested in. Maybe that just wasn't what Fable is. So in order to do that, they had to make their own studio. But it's to me, it didn't seem like anything more than what we hear all the time. What we see all the time in this industry, it's the organic process of the gaming industry where big developers get bigger, and then some of the people, the long-term people who have been there for a long time, get disenchanted with what they're doing. They want to go back to doing what they used to do and have the freedom to make what they used to make before. It was all just, hey, we just gotta get this sequel to this IP that we've been making very well for a very long time, and never go outside of what works and never try anything new. All right, now I want to try something new because I'm frankly bored and I'm not engaged in anything that I'm doing anymore. And so like that's a normal process out here. Like the reason why we have a Compulsion Games is because the founders of Compulsion were originally founders of Arcane. And they got tired of doing what Arcane was doing, and they wanted to go do something else. It's a process that happens a lot, and so it's of course, we see these narratives and everything, and of course, we know what Xbox's stance is and how they got these studios to be acquired in the first place. But none of that stuff and none of the things that they say has prevented from their studios from having, you know, developers like Brown, who feels like I gotta go off and do my own thing in order to feel like I'm not being shackled. It doesn't stop the all kinds of issues that were going on in Undead Labs and so on and so forth. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like he like in the article with GameIndustryBiz.com, he does describe himself. He says that he's definitely describes himself as an open world guide first, rather than a driving guy.
Right.
And he's talking about that the game will be open world. It's going to be AAA. It's going to be premium. We'll have the ambition to go, to go on and win all the awards and things like that. And he's saying like they're trying to, make the industry better too by doing things differently, by giving people the opportunity to encouraging people to be risk takers. So that ties into kind of what you guys were saying about his title being kind of have that Maverick title.
What do you know? Yeah. A developer said that he want his people to be risk takers.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah. So, and that's go ahead, Forte.
I was gonna say my favorite developer wants their people to, sweep that under the rug.
You're talking about is this a Bungie reference? This is a Bungie reference.
Oh my god.
So you really are upset at Bungie, aren't you, Forte?
I am. Been upset at Bungie.
Yeah. He did mention, it's interesting, he did bring up Game Pass. He talked about that. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because he said that he hinted that the game will react to how players are consuming entertainment these days. He talked about subscription services, Game Pass. He said, what subscription does for us game makers, it causes a real fight for the attention of players because their commitment to you is only so much as clicking download. Didn't have to drive to a shop or pay extra. Or when I was a kid, I had to save for 3 months to buy a 64 game. He's not lying. Some N64 games were
fucking stupid in price.
Yeah,
I imported a lot of them.
Yeah, but he also goes on to mention in that article that he knows who his audience is, right, and what he's fighting with, right. He talks about how gamers, are people watch a TikTok video and the average time of a TikTok video is 3 seconds, and he's like the challenge of designing a game in the world today is you're just designing for an attention span of 3 seconds. So. Yep. I mean, I don't
remember that. Yeah, that was an interesting comment.
I mean, he makes a mention of Game Pass, but I don't think what he's saying is Game Pass is driving a delta in the way, in the attention span of gamers, right? That's being driven by other factors in society as well.
Yeah, no, right. He does mention that. He does mention, and I was actually going to get to that point. He talks about he mentions even with games in the Steam sale, you can buy games so cheap. Try it out. You only pay, like he said, $1.50. So he can straight. He said all this. He's basically all this means is games really need to be built in a way that sells themselves in the first few seconds. That, like you said, like that 3 seconds, if you will.
Oh yeah, just like your YouTube video needs to pull people in within the first 30 seconds of you playing, and if it doesn't, they'll click off of it.
Yeah, and you're right. He says like games need to be built with a view of how people expect to be entertained today, and that's your point. And he talks about TikTok. I was going to get to that point too, but he talks about that. So. I saw people kind of running, just taking that one paragraph of Game Pass and running with it. He's kind of like condemning Game Pass. That's not what he's doing at all. He's just talking about the change, the shift in how people consume content or that attention span. I mean, look, it happens to a lot of us now. We're not grabbed in that first 15 seconds or whatever the case is. We may not come back. That's just
normally people's viewing habits were if. They would watch it on TV or they'll play the game themselves. Now then it went to watching your favorite streamer play the game. And now it's like, shoot, I want to watch this 10-second video and see something cool that makes me kind of interested in the game. And it's just a lot of different information out there and stuff when it comes to that. Like I was watching a couple of different videos of people talking about how spending habits and how Shopee has completely morphed over to the fact that social media is like the number one platform for promoting stuff now. Like you just said, TikTok. People go out and watch a 10-second video and they're hitting the buy button because of it drew them in. That
I don't think Slumbo's TikTok video helped Halo Infinite though, but that's another conversation.
Oh man, it probably did. You never know. It probably got some people over there trying to want to play the game. Like, oh, I didn't know Halo actually worked now.
And another element of his comment and some of the things people said about Game Pass. One of the things I'll mention is I don't take it as a universal bad that easier access to stuff is an overall negative, right? Because the fact of the matter that I always had a problem with is, this notion that, making that investment that he talks about, physically driving to a store, difficulty in obtaining something also leads to people spending their time engaged in bad games, right? Out of a feeling of obligation, out of a feeling, I went to the store and went through all the trouble to physically pick this thing up. I may as well play it. And one of the things I wrote on my blog a few months ago was this kind of a jokey statement that I make, which is, I never get committed to any game that I can't walk away from in 30 seconds or less, right? So that whole line from Heat, look, I don't feel an obligation to a game. If a game gets bad or a game does something that I don't like, I often talk a lot about the bad onboarding of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is arguably one of the best games, right, that we've seen. Right. But it has horrible onboarding, right? That is, in my opinion, that is disrespectful of my time in those first 2 or 3 or 4 hours. And I eventually pushed past that, but that design ethos, right, is still a problem. So, and then we talked last week about the different types of consumers that there are on the market, and how both of those types of consumers, need to be addressed. In ease of access, right, in convenience is something that has a huge play and needs to be respected in the way people design products.
Yeah, that's a great point, Hap. That's a great point. I mean, I think about those days, like on the Nintendo Entertainment System, when I used to buy games based on box art, and just like being miserable. This is before GameStop. You could go back and trade games in, feeling miserable because I was like, I spent money. I gotta play through this game. I can't waste the $50 I spent. That was my mindset.
Y'all should have did more research.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did box art back in the day. It's just
I know. It's a whole
time, man.
It's a whole bunch of YouTube and Netflix videos talking about how viral marketing and stuff like that really, really put us in a hole.
So, but yeah, no, that's a great point, Hamp. Did I miss a super chat, by the way? I got Sir X-Men super chat, right? I think that was the last one. I feel like I may have missed one.
Oh, I think you're good.
All right, because I don't know how to use headsets on PC, so.
No, I think Sir X-Men was the last one.
All right, cool. Okay.
Sir X-Men with the $2 super chat says, Beyond the Good and Evil 2 should be the next release. Booyah.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited to see what these guys come up with. I think it's cool. They formed this new studio, and it's gonna be fun to see what they put together. So,
yeah, but by that same token, right? I don't know that that's anything that I would hold my breath about. Right. One of the things that's kind of interesting is, when we've talked about and I hate to bring it up, but when we talked about the Microsoft Activision merger and acquisition, one of the it's not about the acquisition.
No more.
It's not about the acquisition directly. It's about this notion of.
I wait for Everborn to jump in the live chat.
No.
It's this notion about competition on the market, right? And what a lot of people said, and people said it directly here on this chat, when these things happen, developers just go away and they just do, they open new studios and they do new games, right? and the market is vibrant and dynamic, and there's lots of opportunities, and people will just reincarnate themselves, and they'll be like Madonna and reimagine their image and perception, and just like go to a new studio and create a new game.
Madonna's reimagining looks scary, by the way. I just throw that out there.
Right, or maybe it's more applicable to say Lady Gaga today, right?
Yes, I would use Lady Gaga instead of Madonna. Madonna actually, she scares me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But one of the things, right, that I want to call attention to is like we say these things, right, but Cliff Bleszinski, who I've interviewed, right, hasn't shipped a major AAA title since 2011, right? He didn't just go somewhere and create a new game, right? He tried to make Lawbreakers, and that hit problems. Jade Raymond hasn't shipped as a producer a major new game since 2014, right? So Callisto Protocol. Well, right. I mean, that too. Callisto Protocol shipped, but it is not the commercial force that Dead Space was. So I think we give a little too much weight to this notion that developers just go and they figure out new things and they do new things, right? Typically, what happens is developers leave these large studios and they go somewhere, and if they're fortunate, they ship one thing. They don't ship 2, 3, 4, 5 multiple games, right? Like they did when they were at a larger studio. Right. So I just think that bleed off in the industry is a brain drain, is a talent drain that can happen when mass consolidation occurs and you don't have developers wanting to stay and hang around, right? Those kind of larger, Galactus level, right, development bodies and publishing houses. And that is a thing that to me still says that there should be a concern about, what happens when you get mass consolidation on a competitive playing field.
Nope, I agree, because
that's a great point.
Ever since Ken Levine left Irrational Games, he ain't did anything, and he finally got a game coming out soon.
Well, that's because he had to rebuild a whole new studio.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing about when you, like you just said, when you leave these bigger studios and you set off to do something on your own, it's either you're doing something small and you're building it yourself with a small team, or you gotta rebuild and recycle everything and redo everything that you did to get back to that point again. And some people, Ken Levine is probably one of them, that he doesn't want to just put out a C tier or B tier game with a good story. He wants to go kind of all out. So he said, well, people are going to wait for the game that I want to make. And so he decided to say, I'm going to take the long road. And that long road is almost over for him.
He is. He's a special case, though.
No, he is a special case. I agree.
Yeah, and he's a little bit difficult to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't leave his large conglomerate. He's still under 2K.
No, he's still under 2K. Yeah, he just left the studio.
They just separated from Irrational. So his case is a little different. And I think once his product actually comes out, it's gonna be pretty damn good.
I agree.
Yeah,
but,
go ahead.
Like you see when Vince Sampella and his team, the group of guys that left, Activision, they were able to put Respawn together and see some success. So I think there's two sides to the coin, and you can, depending on what happens, the type of backing that you have, you can still be pretty successful even after leaving the bigger studio that you're coming from.
Yeah, I think you can. I'm just saying that I think we do a big hand wave and make it as if that is the majority outcome, right, of these things, and I don't believe it is. I think statistically we see that it's not, right. That you get, for every one Vince Sampella, you have like 10 others, right, that just bleed that talent out of the industry and don't necessarily become like stable, enduring creative forces that remain in the market. And I mean, and this is one of the things I love. So Erodimus says, and he talks about that exact thing, Zampella, right? But what I'm talking about is let's step back and look at things holistically and look at how they happen on the whole, on the dynamic of the market, not like the one example of. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, B. I'm saying Erodimus's approach to pointing out the anecdote. So like I was saying, yes, that happens, right, on one case, but I think far more so often is the case where you see these people bleed out and you don't necessarily see them come back around and do something that has the same impact as what they were doing at the larger publishing houses, which I think plays on that dynamic of, are people, if people are unhappy at a mass consolidation, are they gonna, and they choose not to stay, right? Is that not a negative impact on the industry overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Ken Levine has done at 2K is something that like literally almost no one else will be able to do. He literally has a blank check at 2K the way Rockstar has a blank check to just like spend as long as they're going to spend on, like in terms of like development cycles and making their games, where it's just like there is no, hey, look, you need to get it out now. It's like it's ready when it's ready because we trust you that much. Like Ken has at this point, I think when the report came out from some of his former developers that started with him on this new game and couldn't deal with him any further and quit, that they've essentially made like 2 whole games that no one will ever see because Ken was just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. We starting over. So it's like years and years of people's work is just went into nothing as far as they're concerned, and like that, almost no one would get that kind of leeway except for him. So even in his case, he's a huge outlier, and I do understand Ham's point that a lot of these guys go off and do their own studios. Like BioWare was my favorite studio of all time, and a lot of the big talent that made them what they were has moved on from BioWare to make their own studios. But I don't have any illusions to that. I know that maybe out of like the half a dozen studios that have cropped up out of BioWare's corpse, that maybe 1 or 2 might actually survive, and the others probably may never release their game, or it'll be a dud when it does release. But I mean, that's just the nature of the industry and how things go. It's all, I think I look at it like it's all organic. It's the way it happens.
Yeah, he's Ken Levine is the James Cameron of 2K. He's the Kazunori Yamachi of 2K. He gets to do whatever the hell it is that he wants to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
No
one else can get that much time and that much money.
Right.
Yeah.
My Kazunori reference speaks to my continued being tendency to be flummoxed by like just not understanding how the hell Polyphony gets to do whatever the hell it is that they want to do with Gran Turismo.
They can release a game like every 15 years.
Yeah, or like 2 weeks after like the new platform launches, they get to release a Gran Turismo for the last platform, like they did for Gran Turismo 6.
That I gotta say that was a big head scratch for me. I'm like, what? Yeah. Great points, gentlemen. I do want to mention one more thing before we wrap up the show tonight. So Bethesda did tweet out that there is a standalone show in the works for Starfield. As we know, it's official now that January 25th, the developer direct for Xbox are going to show us some things that they're working on. ZeniMax Bethesda will have a presence of the show, but it won't be Starfield related. They'll show Redfall, and I think ZeniMax Online might have an announcement too. So they tweeted out, hey, you know what, guys? We are putting something together, standalone event for Starfield. So stay tuned.
Good. That's what they needed to do. And I'm glad they set the expectation ahead of time before this event happened, so that people weren't like, can't wait to see some Starfield, and then they watch the event and there's no Starfield, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got our own separate event. Like, stop like covering for things that you could have like protected yourself from after the fact. It costs you nothing to put a tweet out and set expectations ahead of time. So we know what's going to be there. We know what's not going to be there. We know why it's not going to be there. And if Starfield, not if, it is your biggest game to come out this year, yeah, do your own separate event entirely for that game, to focus just on that game, so that before the game comes out, people have seen everything. They've seen gameplay, hopefully much better gunplay than what we saw last year, and everything looks the way people expect it to look, and then they can kind of get some hype going into the game. Like, this is what we've seen Sony do this with, like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2. Like, that's the way to, like, Nintendo does it too with their games, their biggest games. Like, you do a whole focus, a whole show dedicated to that game, so that any questions, any concerns, all of it gets alleviated, and especially if it looks great. And that's that. Like, I'm glad they said that.
I'm also hoping that we get big announcements of the next major Microsoft acquisitions by Microsoft Game Studios. So I'm hoping that we hear confirmation of the rumors that we've heard about the acquisition of Bed Bath & Beyond, and also Subway, which is also now looking for purchases. So,
I mean,
I'm
Subway might be a great acquisition for them. I mean, Microsoft's big on tying food products to their games.
That's
like
right.
Oreo cookies.
Gamers love food. Subway's fast and quick. You can eat a Subway, while you're sitting down playing I ate many a Subway sandwich in my gaming room while playing my Xbox 360. So that seems good synergy, that continuing that mass consolidation, and Bed Bath & Beyond can obviously make that great green lather soap that people love to lather themselves up with. So I'm expecting that we'll get confirmation of those.
I think if they were to acquire Subway, people would make a parallel to the quality of Subway subs to the quality of Xbox games, and people and they would have a problem there. I think they should probably stay away from Subway.
Well, I think Subway. I want to say Subway already has a subscription service, so it goes hand in hand slower with their business model.
Yeah, they're going to be some
free
great
sub with your Game Pass Ultimate subscription.
Yeah, there could be some great tie-ins with their subs. They have like the Master Chief sub, that will cut. But of course, when the Master Chief subs, when you get it, it's going to be half baked. And then no one thought that was funny. Okay. And then you get like Subway skins and stuff for your armor sets. I mean,
hey, here it is. I said it as a joke, but I knew there was something there. Subway introduces footlong pass subscription service for $15 a month. So there you go. Goes hand in hand with Game Pass.
Do they really?
Yes.
No, they didn't. Do they?
Yes. Yes.
$15 a month for look. What do you get? Like, how many subs do you get?
How many footlongs can you shove in your mouth in a day?
Let's see. SubwayFootlongPass.com. Actually, it was a limited subscription service, so they created demand by creating false scarcity on the digital market, which is just again goes hand in hand with the Microsoft Games business model. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I don't see a lot of detail behind it. They gave out 10,000. 50% off Subway footlongs throughout the month of September. So they actually only did it as a limited time run. I can't tell if this is a standing subscription service, but obviously they're giving thoughts to monetization of that subscription service model. So good on them. Probably setting themselves up for that Microsoft acquisition, right? By sending that signal out to the market.
Yeah, Gregor Von Noon says, I don't know why y'all are hating on Subway Pass. It allows me to eat subs I would never try if I had to buy them. That's great.
That's right. Look, there are a lot of indie Subway shops out there that are just trying to be creative and trying to build things that they couldn't build at big AAA sandwich shops. So, again, that's been important.
Yeah, Bulwer Country says you're on fire today, Hamp.
I appreciate it, Bulwer.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Subway, so yeah. That's too funny. Oh, Gregor Von Doom. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to see Starfield, a standalone event. Hopefully it comes sooner than later because I want to see more Starfield because I'm excited for it.
When do you think they follow up with the Starfield event?
Probably a month later, I think. I don't think no more than a month, probably.
When's the game releasing?
We don't know.
Well, I think the what is it? The website said July of 2023 or June of 2023.
I mean, it would have to be.
You got to think if the game is releasing before June, as they so-called claim last year, they got to start marketing the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This event is, we're basically we're in the middle of January right now, basically, at the end of this week. So this event is at the end of January. So if they do the standalone event at the end of February, then the game would hopefully be released in sometime in May.
Well, I think they wouldn't want to cannibalize their own content, because the rumor is that Redfall is releasing the first week of May. So it could be June. It could be like the first week of June, like before, and that would technically have it still be them holding true to what they said at E3, where all these games we're showing you are going to be coming out within the next 12 months. And it's still out before their next E3 show, which would be like always the second week of June. But not so close that it's like basically taken away from Redfall.
So Forza is releasing in April.
Yeah. I think that would make sense, considering Forza's audience isn't necessarily an audience that's going to be the kind of people that are concerned with the other big games that are coming out around that time period as well. I mean, it's a simulation racer, you know.
I mean, my question is, where is the soft spot in the schedule where you even do that event? Because my question for you guys, and especially for you, B, from a marketing perspective, is, you know, do you do a Starfield event before? I was probably when does Legend? I thought Legend of Zelda was coming out in March. It actually doesn't come out till May.
Yeah,
but in March. In March, you have Wolong, you have Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the Resident Evil 4 remake. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, this first half of the year is packed, much more so, particularly Q1, much more so, I think, than we've seen in previous years. And I don't know where there's breathing room to make an announcement where you get a lot of traction. I don't know. What do you think, B?
Yeah, see, that was my question, because that's what makes me think that Starfield isn't coming out until sometime in the fall, because there's the first half of the year is completely packed, and to kind of force yourself to squeeze those games into this packed schedule as it is, and then try to market those games as well. You know, you have Game Pass and whatnot, so you kind of have like the built-in marketing or whatever, but like, you know, you still have to have some TV ads and whatnot, you know, to kind of get that out there. It's going to be interesting to kind of see how they do it. I mean, I guess the 25th event will kind of lay the foundation, because at least Forza and Redfall will be there. So hopefully those games will actually get dates, and then we can kind of see what their game plan is. But if there's no dates at those events, then we might be in a little bit of trouble as far as when those games are releasing.
When you got Hogwarts Legacy in April, you got Legend of Zelda in May. I mean, it's got Diablo 4 in June. Like, and that's just trying to weave your way between game releases, right, to find a place to drop the game where it makes an impact. But my problem is I'm having a tough time seeing where you even do an event where people aren't focused on, right, a big banger release that's either, you know, coming out the next week or has just come out.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and then you know, the other thing too is that release window, all those games, and then first party stuff you talked about, like Redfall, Forza. Then what do they have towards the latter part of the year?
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
that's
it
what
doesn't.
E3 is for.
Yeah, to me,
Right.
but
The
to
next
me, it's
12
like,
months.
Yeah, the next 12 months exactly. But to me, it's like Starfield. Look, I think it's got a lot of buzz behind it. My opinion, because I think it's, you know, Todd Howard's first new game in 20-something years. It's a game that seems to be highly anticipated by many in the Xbox community. You know, I'm sure, I would imagine the PC folks are probably excited about this game as well. But you know, if they, I mean, like, to me, it seems to make sense for them to do something or to release the game later in the year as opposed to that window that we're talking about. You know, to give
they may
the
have
game
something else that
to
they
give the
just
game
haven't
this.
talked about yet that's planned for later in the year.
I mean, yeah, that could be it too. But you know, I mean, I don't know. I given Microsoft's track record recently, I don't feel too confident about that, but I mean, you never know, right? I mean, maybe
Right.
they surprise us, but I just think given how big this game is, and I would imagine they're probably going to market the hell out of it. It's their first big, you know, like I think this game is, you know, I know Redfall is The Redfall is Series X exclusive too, right? Like it's not cross gen, right? I say Series X exclusive. I mean Series
Yeah,
exclusive.
I think
Yeah,
other games this year
Okay.
are kind of going forward are all.
Yeah, it's not coming out on Xbox One.
Yeah. So wouldn't I guess would Starfield would be their first real big AAA series release, right? Current gen release. I mean I don't know if we would consider Redfall AAA, but
Forza is going to be the first release.
Yeah,
well,
Redfall
Forza, that's
AAA.
right. But okay, yeah, that's right, Forza. But
All three of those are AAA games.
okay,
Redfall, Forza, and Starfield all AAA.
okay, all right. So this will be the third one then. but I think this has got a lot of my opinion. I think it's got buzz behind it because it's Bethesda's newest game. And it was delayed a year, and I think people are
They may announce because this seems to be a Bethesda focused thing with also Forza in there because Forza's coming out. But like there's supposed to be this talk that Tango Gameworks, which typically just do like horror kind of games like The Evil Within, has got some kind of like small scale like AA kind of like Pentiment AA game that's a beat 'em up or something that's coming out like later this year or something. So. I don't know. They may show that at the show too, since that's supposed to be something that's coming out soon.
So we'll have that. And do you think Blade comes out this year?
I'm gonna say no,
yeah,
because
I think so.
I think if Hellblade was gonna come out this year, they would have showed it at the VGAs again.
Haven't they? Maybe I'm wrong. Haven't they been showing or talking about Hellblade 2 since the launch of the Series X?
Yes, they
Yeah,
actually
before.
as soon as they showed the Series X, they showed Hellblade right afterwards. That was at
In the same
the
show.
VGAs in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the VGAs in 2020, they showed Hellblade. I don't know if they showed it then. It was 2021 when they showed like gameplay.
Yeah, the
Like-
gameplay. Yep.
Yeah, the gameplay of it. And then so people just assumed that they would, every VGA since 2019, there's been something that they've shown. And the majority of the times they've shown Hellblade. So that they would show Hellblade again. And since they didn't show anything at all, I just think that it's not ready to be shown. That there's nothing that Ninja Theory feels comfortable to show yet. And if they're still keeping to this focus of everything that we show is imminently coming out within the next 12 months or less, then that would exclude Hellblade from this year if they didn't show it then.
Yeah, I forgot.
I mean,
I'm sorry, go
they
ahead.
could show it at this year's E3 is what I'm saying. For it to come out this holiday season.
Yeah, but then I mean, if they show it at this E3, then it can still come out like May 2024.
Right.
Right.
I'm just trying to, if Starfield is going to come out that first week in June, and then you talked about the Bethesda, the Arcane beat 'em up, or the Tango Gameworks beat 'em up, I would assume that there would be something else, especially since Forza's coming out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and to be, I mean, to true everything up, right? I mean, the things are murky for the entire industry beyond May, right? Nobody's really come out with a firm roadmap of like what's coming out in 2023 beyond that.
Spider-Man 2.
We've got hundreds of titles. We've got hundreds of titles that are labeled as TBD. Once you get out.
Didn't they say
May.
Spider-Man 2's coming out fall 2023? Wasn't that?
Yeah, I mean that was the
confirmed
one.
that. Yeah.
But other than that, we don't know. I mean, we don't know lots of stuff. And I had forgotten. I didn't realize The Last of Us Part 1 for PC got dated for March.
Yeah, that comes out March. Yeah.
First week of March.
Yep.
Yeah, I might be double dipping again. But who asked for that?
That's quadruple dipping for you.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I didn't get the remake on PlayStation. Like that's the only time I'm not going. I will choose to wait for a game because like Final Fantasy 16, I'm not waiting for it to come out on PC. I'm just going to get it when it comes out this summer on PS5. But a remake of a game I played like 2-3 times already. Yeah, I'll wait for that to come to PC.
I'm going to play it again on the PC. Woo!
Yeah, there's that for PlayStation. There's that. There's Returnal. Trying to think of everything that is supposed to be coming out from Sony on PC this year.
They have no games.
Stop it.
PlayStation's in trouble.
There was something else. I can't think of what it was.
I know, right?
Go ahead, B.
I think there's some. I think they announced something else, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, there's
games.
Yeah, there's The Last of Us Part 1. There's Returnal. They didn't give Returnal a date, but they said it's coming out this year on PC. Yeah, I
thought February was a rumor for that. No.
Nah, they would gave us a date if it was February, if it was going to be that soon. They showed it at the VGAs, which was December, and they said 2023. If they were going to show it coming out in February, they would that's 2 months from now. They would have said February, but they just said 2023, so it could be anywhere in that time frame.
Yeah, I want to ask the people who are Xbox centric gamers, are you going to play Starfield? And if you're going to play Starfield, have you played any of Bethesda's other open world games like Elder Scrolls or Fallout?
I don't want to play Elder Scrolls. Game is trash.
What? This is blasphemy. B Money. What is this blasphemy?
Hot's garbage.
Yeah, I'm very likely to play Starfield. I came to Fallout 3, Fallout 4 late, and actually Skyrim late, and was super impressed by those games. So I mean,
have you ever played Morrowind?
No. So Morrowind was that
Oblivion?
game on the Xbox that started the whole, I don't want to say walking simulator, but there were some design patterns of Morrowind that I just wasn't really a huge fan of. But Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Skyrim definitely hit for me. And so, if Starfield has that, but also I have a particular kind of, I don't know, subgenre thing that I'm really looking forward to in terms of the planetary exploration and how that's handled. And I'm hoping that that's good. But yeah, I'm highly likely to play Starfield, particularly with it being available on PC.
Yeah, I'm playing it on PC.
I'm more interested in playing Redfall.
I heard some stuff about the console version. I can't say, but yeah, I'm definitely playing on PC.
What, Filmic?
What?
Filmic?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm just saying.
What is this?
Filmic.
I don't know. This Borbo Country says you seem to like graphically challenged games. So I don't know if he means graphically challenged or graphically challenging. Or I don't know.
Yeah, Borbo got into the edibles today. So yeah, I am definitely playing it on PC for sure. Yes, definitely playing it on PC, like you, Hamp.
I'm gonna buy you a copy for console.
No, you're not. It's a Game Pass. But
I'll buy you a copy for console.
Oh, if you want to buy it, yeah.
How did you feel about the Redfall devs coming out and saying the game is more like Far Cry?
Far Cry, yeah. But what Far Cry?
I'm not the biggest Far Cry fan.
They said Far Cry 2.
Oh, yeah, Far Cry 2 is not bad.
So it's funny because like I read through that, right?
That's one I liked.
And they even like made a little like mentions of Borderlands, and I'm like, your game is so much like Borderlands, it's ridiculous. The only thing I would say that is different in Borderlands is not a straight up looter, where let's say you get a weapon and you love it, but it gets out leveled quickly, or it's not like a gazillion bunch of weapons, like millions of weapons, like in Borderlands, like that kind of looter. But like clearly with the character archetypes, they borrowed heavily from Borderlands. The 4-player co-op aspect of it, like that ain't Far Cry. Like, that's not Far Cry, buddy. You may got a Far Cry from the open world aspect, but like your actual co-op was borrowed heavily from Borderlands. Your Layla is a siren. That one Hispanic dude with the eye and the sniper rifle and the bird. You even took the bird. That's Mordecai from Borderlands, but even down to the fact, and reinforce, I don't know if you remember this or not, where I spliced together like the animation from their trailer of him using the ultimate for his bird in Redfall to you using Bloodwing, the ultimate in Borderlands 1 for Mordecai is almost the same animation. They look exactly the same, where he shoots his arm out and the bird jumps off his shoulder and goes out and does an elemental attack on the enemies.
Somebody was like, when they were making this, said, "Man, that looks very familiar." He said, "Well, you ain't seen nothing."
If I see something resembles Claptrap, I might start laughing a little bit.
I'm telling you, man.
They have a mechanical dog running around.
And the mechanical dog telling dirty jokes.
I ain't see you telling any jokes, but like that might be too much on the nose. But it's just like, bruh, like you definitely borrowed heavily from Borderlands, which is fine. But like,
inspired, yeah, okay.
But it's like they should, to the whole Left 4 Dead thing. Like they should have said and spoke on this the way they did recently, like when they first showed the game, because people like they showed a full CG trailer, no gameplay. People didn't know what the game actually was, and so a lot of people just kept saying immediately Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead. And it's just like, yo, your game's not Left 4 Dead. Like, you know your game's not Left 4 Dead. Why don't you go ahead and kill this narrative now instead of letting it fester and take root in people's mind for over a year? And then when you get close to launch, within 6 months of launch, now you're trying to correct misinformation. It's like, that's going to reach some people, but it's not going to reach all the people. And so there's still some people that are going to get this game, install it through Game Pass or buy it or whatever, and they're going to be like, yeah, man, I'm going to get my buddies. We're saying it's like a vampire Left 4 Dead. And it's not.
And I would be like, whose fault is that, Slow-Mo?
But yeah, but it's partially the uninformed casual gamers' fault, but it's partially their fault for not correcting the narrative from jump. You knew the game. Your game wasn't Left 4 Dead. Why didn't you say anything?
Slow-mo, come on now. Let's be for real here. We always try to tell people it's the developers come out and tell you what it is.
Should they have come out and told people what it was back when it first came out?
They just did. They just did.
It's been they've showed the game over a year ago.
Okay, and they're showing the game for the second time right now, and they just told people this is what our game is. We're going to do a blowout to show you exactly what the gameplay is going to look like. We're going to do a deep dive on it, and it's not these games. It's this kind of game.
That's a apples to oranges thing, man. Like you could do that, and it's good that they're doing that. Correcting a narrative is completely different. You don't have to do a whole huge blowout of a game that wasn't even ready to have a big blowout for back then, to just say all this talk of this game being Left 4 Dead is not it. It's not true. Just kill the narrative from the very start.
I mean, I think it just, okay. I'll tell you this, and this is one thing I kind of noticed about what developers and stuff do. As long as the conversation isn't detrimental to the game, they will allow fans and gamers to speculate to the moon. But the moment that it comes to the point where it's very, very it's something that can harm the game, it's something that can harm the overall presentation or the presence of the game itself, then you'll see them come out there and they'll explain and tell you like, hey, this is what this game is about. And I think that's why they said it before Microsoft announced that there was going to be this direct event, because they wanted to set expectations. Like they completely set expectations for this event. They told everybody what's going to be there, what's going to not be there. And I mean, if they do show anything like special, they have like leeway for Game Pass, because they didn't say that it wasn't going to be any new reveals like from Game Pass. They just talked about what's coming in the next few months. So they just named the major things that's coming. That doesn't say there's nothing special going to be there, but I think they just did. They did what you are talking about. You just wish they would have did it a year ago. I think they just like the fact that people were talking about it, and it was in their minds for as long as it was. And now that they finally have an opportunity to share that with people, now they're going to correct it, because as they're talking about it, they don't want to have that blowback on, like you just said, well, why did you tell us this 6 months ago? Why you wait until you actually show off the game to do it? You know, they're getting that out the way now so they don't have to deal with it later.
One question I wanted to ask both of you to kind of chew on in terms of your different perspectives. Did Bungie really understand what Destiny was in a way that allowed them to articulate it in 2014?
Bungie still don't know what Destiny is.
Probably, I would say they had a better idea than I would say Arcane with Deathloop did.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I think
I was going to bring up Arcane with Deathloop as a great example of why you need to correct narratives before games come out. Now, although Deathloop was reviewed very, very well by the games media, there are a lot of people that like expressed discontent with the game because it wasn't what they thought it was, and I'm one of them. I thought it was going to be kind of like a roguelike in a way where you could kind of choose how you wanted to attack these targets and try to get it, all of them killed before the loop was over. But it's really not that at all. You really don't have a lot of choice in the matter. There's a specific way to get things done. And in addition to the way they made the gunplay look in the trailers, made it seem like, oh man, this gunplay is going to be really tight, and it's not. It's terrible. Like it's I wouldn't say it's not misinformation, but they definitely marketed it in a way that the game really isn't supposed to be played. And so, like, and that's Bethesda right there. Like, this is the same studio with the same marketing teams because they do their own marketing. And it's just like I see them kind of making the similar mistakes where people don't quite understand where you're going with the game, which I appreciate about Arcane because they're unique in that sense, and they like to do things differently, and they don't like to just continually do the same things over and over again, which sometimes can backfire on them. Like Prey, like people didn't really dig Prey like that, but some people did, some people didn't. But like, at least let us know accurately what your game is going after ahead of time before it comes out. And if you know something is a narrative that people are going with about your game ahead of time, and you see it all over social media, and you know that's not true, correct it when you see it. So that's not like when it's been bandied about for so long, and it's in articles talking about your game. People are still going to see those articles when they Google your game months and months later, and they may not see your correction, just now a month ago. Like it's just they should have just took care of this a while ago.
So I haven't heard, like, most people since this has come out haven't had an issue with the fact that they're saying what it is. They haven't. I mean, you're the first person I know that actually has this issue, and I don't agree with you. I think if you want to be upfront, you should do that as soon as possible. But going back to what Hemp said, with Bungie, I do think Bungie knew what they had when they had Halo. Not Halo, with Destiny. I just don't think they understood the scope the game was going to need to have in order to, be in the type of game that they wanted to be. Because Destiny, when it launched on day one, bare bones, it still had all of the same things pretty much today that it had back then. The only things that they kind of changed up was the fact that they have seasons and they have less, they have less expansions because they used to do 3 big expansions a year. Now they do seasonal content because they know that's more viable for them to make, keep consistent content out there. But they still do raids and they still add content to the game and stuff like that. So I think they knew what they had. But the biggest thing that, when they did their little breakdown and they talked about, they just didn't expect the fan base to be as hungry as it was. And I do think the only thing that they kind of missed on is letting people think that the story was going to be something that was inside the game and you had to go outside the game to get that. I think they thought that would have been a really good gameplay mechanic to, like,
merge the in game with outside the game and stuff, and it just didn't work too good for them. But outside of that, they knew what the game was. They had too much confidence in thinking that they were going to be able to keep up with something that they had no chance of keeping up with, as they can see now. So, but yeah, I think that's the biggest difference between the two. But I don't really hold it against them for coming out and letting the hype just run off. And Bungie just did this recently. They had some hype going on out there about a service, like people saying that, oh, there's going to be a service inside of the game, and it was like data miners mined it, and it ran wild for like 2 weeks. And guess what? Bungie never came out and said anything about it. And then the data miners literally earlier this week came out and said, this story got way too big. We were just playing around. This is all false. And people were like, why didn't Bungie come out and address this? And guess what? The reason they didn't do it is because it was bringing a lot of attention to their game. And if it got to a point where a lot of people were getting really, really upset about it and voicing their opinions and making videos and all this other stuff about it, then they would have came out and addressed it. But the fact that it never got to that point and these people came out and fixed the narrative, they didn't have to do that. But guess what? They took that free marketing that they got from it, and that's what a lot of these companies do. As long as it's not hurting the overall ability of the game to actually have a presentation of itself, they're going to let that narrative run.
I would say anybody doing anything that Bungie is doing it wrong.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
I'll be right back.
I ain't gonna disagree with you on that.
Okay, let me grab this super chat here from Sir X-Men before we wrap up the show here. Sir X-Men, the $5 super chat. Thank you, Sir X-Men. Says, will Starfield cross save from Steam to Xbox? I don't know.
That's a good question. It probably will from the Xbox app to the Xbox though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It will definitely do it there. I doubt it would do from Steam, because I think the campaign for Halo Infinite doesn't do it from Steam. Now, your multiplayer stuff, because that's all through the multiplayer server, because that's all through dedicated servers, where the campaign is completely separate. And I don't think has anybody ever played the campaign on Xbox and played it on Steam and see if it transfers over? Because I don't think it does.
I have not. I don't know, man. I have not done that. Well, so,
and you're certain the multiplayer transfers over?
Yeah, because I play on. You know what? No, it has to. That's a good question. Because I play on the Xbox app. Let me see. I'm about to see right now before the show's over. That's a good question. Go ahead, finish your thoughts, Brad. We don't like dead air here.
Sorry, man. I'm shopping for deodorants right now.
God.
All right. Yeah. I actually don't have any others.
Guess what? Shout out.
Wrapping up the show.
Guess what, guys? Shout out to the 137 people we got here at the show. You guys are amazing. Brap Kep is here 43 minutes longer than he should have, because we like to play video games just like you guys. And this was a really, really great show. And it was also amazing having the homie B Money back here and sharing his beautiful wisdom with us. And
yeah, B, we miss having you on regularly, B. We miss you, man. It was a pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah. So
I try to get here as often as I can. Luckily, there's no wrestling match today, but I got one tomorrow.
Nice.
So,
So with that,
when you have kids, man, they kind of take over your life as they get older.
I hear you, man. I hear that. No doubt, man. But no, be always a pleasure having you on, man. When you can join us, man. And want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Yeah, we've had about 883 views. So thank you.
Made a video.
To the 130, yeah, the video, right? And so to the 130 plus people watching, thank you so much. Please hit the like button. We have 45 likes. Smash the like button. Smash it. And if you're new, subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And
eviscerate it.
Yeah. So yeah.
So okay, he's still searching for Deodore.
I'm not. I'm done.
B Money. B Money. You're an amazing person. We love you. Tell everybody where they can find you at, bro.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Same place. B Money 101. It's great show tonight, fellas. It's great to be here. Try to get here more often as the wrestling season comes to an end here in the next month or so. Great conversation. We talked about a lot of great things tonight, and definitely looking forward to this Microsoft Direct. I want to see what Redfall is all about, and hopefully we have some surprise announcements.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And Slow-Mo, you back yet? All right. His name is Slow-Mo Backslap. He is one half of one of the best podcasts out there called DPS Podcast with his homeboy Forte. Every Thursday night, 9 p.m. It will be on his channel tomorrow, so make sure you go check him out at Slow-Mo Backslap on YouTube and Twitter. And make sure you go drop a like and a sub on his channel. And then we also have the homeboy, the myth, the legend, Lee Hamp. Hamp, what is going on with you, sir? And please tell everybody what amazing content you put on that YouTube channel of yours.
I don't know that I would describe it as such. We're on Sunday nights we do the Enough to Keep Going Weekly Games podcast, which is a show that's probably not for everyone. We just don't approach things from kind of the same angle as a lot of other podcasts. But we've got two software engineers, a hardware engineer, and a university professor who's an economist. And specializes in media and entertainment. So we kind of have a discussion about the industry, kind of at an academic level around a lot of the technology and software, and then also kind of like really focus on kind of report outs of our gameplay experiences in recent titles that we've been diving into. So that's on Sunday nights at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. So you're welcome to check that out. And then if you want to keep up with things that I write on my blog, I just posted an article kind of about how the European Union kind of handles GDPR and how they kind of created some problems of their own or struggling to manage problems of their own creation with regards to privacy and protecting citizens, and how kind of some of the corporations, U.S. corporations, are kind of running amok because they kind of created a regime that's really unenforceable. So that's an article that I posted up on my blog, and that's over at roundingoffinfinity.com. So you can check that out as well.
Oh, I got to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to definitely check that out, man.
That sounds interesting. Yeah,
that sounds amazing. And Sir X-Men with the $2 super chat says Destiny has cross save with Steam to Xbox. It has cross save everywhere. It has cross. What's the name? Go ahead.
And the issue we're trying to sort through, and I'm just saying because I don't know that anybody's actually ever done it, is yes, Destiny has cross save because it stands up its servers outside of the Xbox fabric. My question is for Xbox first party games that are on Steam, is there cross save and particularly cross progression on multiplayer onto your Xbox? That's just something that I just don't know. Just because I haven't ever tested it, because I don't. If I personally play Xbox titles, I play them through the Xbox app on PC or Game Pass app. Yeah. So I just don't know how that works on Steam.
Yeah, that's what I do too. And for myself, Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. Check us out on DPS tomorrow with Slow-Mo, and it's going to be a great time. And Hamp, I do want to say that ever since you became a part of this panel, you have made me a smarter person. I appreciate that sir. I want to turn it back over to the man that runs this show, so he can send us off with a proper send off.
I'm back.
BRAP. Well, we already did your outro, sir, so it's too late. But
no, you are not the host.
Slow-Mo took over, man.
Forte took over. Slow-Mo, go ahead and do your outro.
No, you don't tell me when to do my outro either.
It's your turn. Everybody else is done there.
So you gonna tell me, it's too late now? Okay, now it's not too late. Who made you the host?
Myself.
Okay, well you don't have that authority.
Listen. Okay? Everybody did their outro already.
You don't have that authority.
Everybody did their outro, Slow-Mo. So it means if you want to do your outro, it's your time to do it. If you don't want to do it,
you know what?
Do you want to do it?
I'm gonna do my outro. I'm gonna take my time.
Go ahead. Talk real slow too.
Thank you for everyone coming to the show tonight. Great panel. Great chat. Come check us out on DPS tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. You'll have this jerk over here, Forte, with me.
Oh man,
We're gonna have a great time. I'm out.
wow.
Enrique, get us the hell out of here.
That was funny. Actually, that was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. So, Slow-Mo Forte kind of took over. I was shoe shopping, and yeah. So, all right, everyone. Thank you again for watching the show. Seriously, everyone in the live chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really means a lot to us, and it would be a BRAP without you and those who are going to listen later on. So, have a great rest of the week. Check out. I forgot. Check out DPS tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Slow-Mo's channel. And check out Hamp on Sunday nights Hamp, are you guys still 9 p.m. Eastern Time or 8? I was getting confused.
It's 8:45 p.m. ish.
Okay. Yep.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
So, the E2KG network. I always mess that up, by the way, because I say it too fast.
Yep, that's correct. With the number with the number 2, E2KG
the number
network.
2, check them out on YouTube. Always insightful, seriously, really insightful conversation. The one time I was a guest on your show, Hamp, it was a really great show, man. Really, I think it was around the time that shortly after Elden Ring came out. That was a great conversation. So
are you trying to say that the other times you were on the show, it wasn't a great great time?
No, what I'm saying, when I was a guest on the show, I'm saying it was. Never mind,
Okay,
man.
yeah.
You're being messy now.
Forte out here just trying to start stuff.
Yeah, I know. He's just trying to start.
He's got your 6 Forte.
Listen, man.
I've got your rear Forte. Just remember that.
Nah. I can't.
He's not letting go.
Listen, you can't hear.
I can hear now. I can hear footsteps above me.
You can't hear.
All right. On that note, we're out. Everyone have a great rest of the week. And until next time, gamers. Thank you. We're out.
Be well and be fed.